So I know a lot of people are thinking about what's going on with Iran and Israel. And as usual, Twitter is being stupid. Um, no, this is not World War III. I hate to burst the dispensationalist bubble. Um, we are not all going to die. The attack was pro forma and had a lot more to do with um, internal um, internal Iranian politics than it did to with um, um, with really Israel. I mean, I don't know how interested people are in talking about this. Frankly, I don't think it's all that important. Um, um, I'm actually much more interested in talking about the CAS report, which I actually think is important and will still be important in a few months. But if people want to talk about Iran, I mean, I am very interested in the topic of Iran. At the same time, I don't think most people actually care. Like people are um, they are imposing their own um, eschatological and scatological, honestly, um, views on um, what's going on, um, and so which tends to be the situation with most things. Anyway, thank you for the prayers, Matthew. But um, I mean, there was a possibility that that the attacks were going to be more serious than this, but these were not serious attacks. And I do think the cast review is going to have long-term effects. Um, I think it signals this tectonic shift, at least in the UK, against gender ideology, um, and frankly against the woke in general. Um, and I think that's going to hopefully have reverberations. Vocal Distance today was talking about how um, Bill Maher is being dismissive of the woke. I think there has been movement. So, yeah. Or we could talk about the Bible. I mean, that's what most people actually like to talk about up here. And no, I don't view this on eschatological terms at all. In fact, Chazi finally sent me two books by the Yanuka, which I started digging into. Um, I'm considering live streaming, um, going through them. Um, yeah. So if anybody wants to talk, Neil said he wanted to jump on, or if anybody else wants to. It's Neil!
Jacob.
Who let you on my channel?
I apologize. 3 Marys and a couple of How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing well, actually. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah. I really liked. It's one of my favorite parts of the PVK stream yesterday. Feels like longer than yesterday, but it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
It does. Sorry, I'd missed all of your opening monologue. So if you want to keep going with whatever you were saying, I could get acquainted with what you were talking about.
There's a reason it's a just chatting stream, because it's just chatting. Whatever people want to talk about.
Yeah, I think as I've talked to more and more people within the corner, or gotten to know more and more people, there's a overall broad acknowledgement that your contribution to the corner by far is the democratization of randos and just chatting. Like you are the beginning of that, for good or for ill. That started with that's the overall consensus I've gotten, is that didn't happen before Jacob.
Democratization? No, see, that is the absolute opposite of what I did.
Well, the question is, how much control over your own legacy do you have in the annals of history?
Absolute control. You completely misunderstand. You completely misunderstand.
So we got to spend the rest of the stream correcting the record then, obviously, right? It's the only way history will be changed.
Let me explain what my contribution was. My contribution was a demonstration that that reality matters a lot more than the narratives people tell themselves. And so when I started doing the Just Chatting streams, I let a lot of people on, and I still let a lot of people on. And I showed people that they could do things that they thought were impossible. And so I didn't democratize anything. I realized that a lot of the stories we tell ourselves are bullshit. And I think that's an important thing.
The way I would state the democratization, and I could be wrong about this because I don't have the full history, but just the idea of having live streams and inviting people on and making it beyond just pre-recorded conversations, and having randos truly from all walks of life outside of PVK,
Randos
Yeah.
United existed as a channel before I started doing the Just Chatting streams.
But maybe it was the just chatting. Maybe it was the just
Right.
chatting.
So I mean, I found the StreamYard thing actually on Muslim YouTube, and I thought it was something that we could use well, and so I helped make it happen as best I could. And unlike some people, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, and so yeah, it caught on, and I'm happy about that. But I have to say, it was like my whole thing. If you've ever been on my Discord server, is my whole thing is hierarchy. I want to shut up the people who are saying stupid things. I am 100% for canceling people who should be canceled, and for elevating voices that should be elevated. And so, like, this democratization narrative, this is the first I have heard of it, and I will quash it with furious vengeance. I am absolutely against any such thing. I am all for hierarchy.
Can you think of any historical figure who had an impact on something in history in one way, shape, or form, and it was up to that historical figure to determine the precise impact in which he or she had?
You completely misunderstand. I know everything. I know exactly the results of every little move I make. The world is
Every move I make,
the
every
world
breath I take. Sorry, I'll stop.
The world is completely deterministic, and
Like clockwork.
it's a game. Yes, it's like billiards, where
Except for quantum mechanics.
No. Quantum mechanics is all bullshit. It's like billiards, right? If you put the exact right amount of spin on the cube, it will go precisely in the hole you call it. That is 100% been my message since the very beginning.
When I watch the next World Billiards Championship
I'll be thinking about
in Ottawa, I'll be not only thinking about you, but seeing you there hitting that perfect shot.
I have to say, that is the example I constantly give of how the world is not. So
I did pick up on the joke. I did.
I'm glad to hear.
But I also picked up on that you were serious about the hierarchy and the silencing.
Yeah,
and I also think violence needs to be silenced.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be serious.
So I have to say, because of the Protestant nature of this little corner, much more so than the Peterson sphere in general, this little corner, there is a desire to write everything in Protestant narratives, and that idea of like democratization, it's a narrative that I just think is obviously false. But I mean, if you believe it, have at it. Like
Well, so I am curious regarding your thoughts on a few different things, and they're somewhat related to this. So one I would say, here's I'm putting myself in your position, and I'm gonna try to steel man your argument, okay? And you tell me how I'm doing. So we live in a time of unparalleled uncertainty. We live in a time of unparalleled deconstruction, where there are fewer and fewer viable paths career-wise, sociologically, basically any way you slice it. Fewer and fewer.
Just contradicted yourself.
What do you? Or sorry, I should say. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I see what you're saying. That the paths are infinite, and so there are fewer. Let me put it this way: there are fewer clear paths to, let's say, a stable. Many wide is the way. Many are the paths, and wide is the way that leads to destruction, and that has gotten a lot wider.
One of the quotes from the Christian Bible I so dislike.
You cannot abide. You can abide, but you won't abide that.
That particular quote is one of the few quotes which I say may have been of Jesus, but if it was, Jesus was wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, nobody's perfect except for Jesus. So on to the next point. So and Mary, on to the next point. So, okay. So we have a space here which by its nature couldn't have existed 10 years ago, or not a space that couldn't have existed 10 years ago.
Okay.
So how do we, if according to your own goals, which would be, let's say, to get people into hierarchical structures that are full of meaning, structure, value, can climb to some, let's say, worthwhile pursuit in their life. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
That's not a goal I have. That is a truth I believe, is that hierarchical structures are inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is to participate in that which God is doing. That is my goal. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't watch Homath. But if he wants on my channel, he's more than welcome. So my goal is to do that which is to participate in that which will happen, which is what God wants.
And whether that's structures via the Catholic Church, Orthodoxy, Judaism, it's okay if it's pointing to God.
My God is the God of truth and the God of history, and my God will win. To the degree where what my wishes do not reflect that which God intends, I am on the wrong side. See Acts 5, Gamliel, and what Gamliel says in Acts 5, while we have no proof outside of the Christian Bible that he said it, I have yet to see a rabbi look at that and not be like, yeah, that sounds like Gamliel. Although we don't have that.
I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know Acts well enough to know off the top of your head what you're referring to.
Some of this was before.
I could look it up though. But yeah,
I could pull it up.
Well, I would prefer to. Well, it's up to you. It's your channel.
I am a big fan of this is Jacob's greatest hits. So if you want to hear Jacob's greatest hits,
I'm more interested in picking Jacob's brain on the ideal future of this space that we're in.
The ideal future of this space is Jethro.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Jethro.
Yeah, that's what I said during the stream yesterday, because for a good 4 years, I have been screaming about Jethro. Probably closer to 6 years, I've been screaming about Jethro. And so Jethro is Moses' father-in-law. And in the Bible, Jethro comes and sees Moses is overworking himself, and Jethro says to him, "This is not the correct path. You need to set up a hierarchy with elders and leaders of tens of thousands and leaders of tens." And so
I'm familiar with the story now. I just forgot that his name is Jethro, but I am familiar with the story.
His name was Jethro. So I keep on pointing to Jethro and saying we need If we are going to be a viable community, we have to have um, a hierarchy. And the fact is, we do have a hierarchy. This is my big criticism of Paul Vanderklay. I keep on telling him to stop lying. And I would like him to stop lying because he says, I am not the leader.
What is it?
That's a lot.
Okay. So a hierarchy has to have an aim, right? So to get a little bit less abstract than the aim of God, what is it that specifically the aim of a hierarchy of TLC would aim for? Is it specifically to place people in the right faith traditions for them? And then how is TLC not accomplishing that goal now that you feel it could accomplish that goal more effectively with a formal hierarchy?
Okay, so a formal hierarchy is going. The ultimate hierarchy is the hierarchy that has God on top, and God is ineffable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then people organize themselves into other hierarchies, right, which have lower. And what it seems to me is the hierarchy right now that we could agree on is logos, is speaking truth, right? And if I have tried various ways of setting up a hierarchy, including hoping that that Paul Vanderklay. The fact is, I mean, there is a hierarchy, kind of, in that Paul Vanderklay is kind of leading this flotilla. Well, he was. And I thought when the time came for him to actually step up and lead, he would stop pretending he's not leading. But that didn't happen. To the best of my knowledge, right now, Jonathan Pajot is the one who's actually leading. Unfortunately, I can't be involved for religious reasons. I cannot be more involved in his efforts than I am. But like, as far as I see it, unless Paul changes course, Jonathan Pajot is gonna go ahead and take over this this little corner, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
What I've found in this space, or at least the value for me, has been friendships on areas of interest, topics, depth of conversation that I have not been able to find in my local life. That's it. So for me, it hasn't been a lack of a faith tradition, because I have had that. And that's been extremely, I wouldn't even say rewarding. I will say necessary in my own life. My Catholicism has been absolutely necessary for steering me through the most difficult time of my life and getting me through it. I won't say unscathed, but I'll say it as a better person, for lack of a better word and cliche. It's than who I was. However, coming out of that, and as I found my resentment going down, I was still lacking something. And so when I started to get into game development, I created a Discord. When my YouTube channel was about 6 months in, and I had people who were excited about what I was doing, and I said, let me see what will happen if I create a Discord. And I created a Discord, and it started out really good. It was the people joining were enthusiastic about sharing what they were developing in game development, and so we had a Friday night meetup, and we talked about what we were each developing, and if we had questions, we brought them to the team. But two things happened. So one is that it never got past that kind of surface layer discussion on like how to do something. But the second thing that happened is more and more people joined the Discord who are like, I need help. I have this problem. I need help to fix this. Can someone help me? And it's like, oh, more and more of that happened. And it's like, yes, but how are you edifying? Like, what are you giving to the, like, how are you helping this effort? And so after about a year, I decided to shut down my Discord for the game channel. And that's when I had the realization that I had to come out of the lurk, because what I was really looking for was fellowship, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, and fellowship in the spirit of JVP on down to Vervaeke, and the rest of them. So I guess for me, like what would you say in my case? Like what am I doing, or should I even be in this space? Like if I already have a faith tradition, if I'm solid in that faith tradition, but I can't, let's say, talk about Petersonian topics for Vervaeke topics, or
Hold
like
on.
what?
Do,
Yeah,
do you know Father Eric?
yeah, no, I do. Yeah,
Why don't you create my Discord has kind of become Father Eric's Discord because the Catholic community has failed to actually create one for him.
I guess.
Father
Okay.
Father Eric, I have been as supportive as I can be of Father
I've
Eric.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
And the failure of the Catholics in this little corner to properly organize around Father Eric shows a failure in hierarchy.
Well, no one in my Catholic church sent me into the space. I'm doing it as an American because I need it.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I don't know if you've heard Father Eric talk about his vocation, but so he talks about in Ezekiel the Valley of Dry Bones, and he wants to see the Catholic Church to become live again. And as I have said from the very beginning, Pope Francis may not be who I would choose if I got to choose the Pope of the Catholic Church. I don't get to do that, but God does. And there are 1 billion Catholics in the world. And
a giga church.
And I sincerely believe that the path to heaven is actually very, very broad, and that God is in fact leading his people. And so I pray for Francis, and I pray for Father Eric, and I pray for the Catholic Church to be as strong as God can make it. And so, if the Catholic, if the Catholic faith has helped you, then I would say you have an obligation to pay that forward.
I do. I agree.
Okay, so it seems pretty clear to me what I would do in your space. It's up to you if that's what you want to do, but it's pretty clear to me what I would do.
Yeah, I pray all the time that if I'm
no.
mark that.
Stop with the prayers.
Stop with the prayers.
Yeah, stop. Tots and pears. Tots and pears. Right? No. There's a reason.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think
there's a reason why I have deliberately created a space for Catholics on my Discord server, and if I were you, I would start a Catholic Discord server.
Do you think that there's more value to Catholics only staying in the same space amidst their own kind? Or do you think there's more value to people of let's say, various faiths being spread out so as to disseminate their faith?
So this is Jewish theology. Is you start by creating. You have concentric circles of greater responsibility, right? So my greatest responsibility is to take care of me, and then to take care of my family and my neighbors and those around me, and it goes out that way, right? So yeah, I think Matthew is right when he says false dichotomy. I started Jacob's Ladder as a Jewish space. It doesn't mean there's only Jews on Jacob's Ladder, and it doesn't mean there's only Jews on my channel, but my channel is a Jewish channel because that's who I am, right? And I can contribute. I contribute to Muslim channels. I go on Muslim channels, which are I believe, much farther away from me than any of the channels in this little corner, right? But it is commensurate to those concentric circles of responsibility. My first responsibility is to my fellow Jews, and then to the other people who are around me. That's why I am very Los Angeles focused. If somebody is within driving distance of Los Angeles, I have driven hours to go see them.
I know. I know you've made sacrifices like that. I know that about you, by the way.
Thank you. So, like, I mean, I think Matthew's right. That's a false dichotomy. If my space, I think, is pretty clearly a Jewish space. I don't think anybody like comes into my space and is like, "Oh, this isn't Jewish enough." At the same time, there are a lot of people on my channel and on my Discord who are not Jewish, like Chad. Hey, Chad.
I'm not on the Discord.
No, but you are on my channel.
Yes.
How are you doing, Chad?
Good. What are you guys talking about?
What are we talking about, Nail?
I guess the gist of my question for Jacob was, well, actually, let me get to the point that I wanted to ask, and this is really the question: is it a good idea to invite people into this space, and why? So I guess three things: is it a good idea to invite people into this space or not a space? And if so, why? But then the third question, that's probably even more important, is how, because I have not had success at garnering interest in others to
define this space.
Whatever we're doing on this collection of channels.
Okay. The reason why you have not been able to invite people into this space is you don't have a definition for this space. Trey disagrees.
Who are you trying to invite? That's also a key question.
Let's say people who I know are suffering from the meaning crisis, but don't know where to look for answers.
What does that mean? Like, be more specific.
They're living alone. They're single. They're in their 20s or 30s. They don't have a marriage. They don't have a formal relationship. They don't have significant responsibilities outside of maybe just a job. They don't have any reason that they're living beyond just living or for their own hedonistic pleasure. Mm-hmm. Those kinds of young men.
Gotcha. So what do they say when you try and invite them? Or how do you invite them?
I've mentioned it over emails. I've mentioned it in videos. I don't know. I've tried various things, you know, and I the more personal, the better, obviously. But yeah.
Like, do you say like, hey, I got this community that's a bunch of old guys. You know, one of them is a pastor. You want to come and join?
No, it's not what I say at all. It's what I say. What's the pitch?
Yeah.
So I talk about something like quality, or I talk about something like meaning, or I talk about some topic that interests me in depth. And then I say, if this interests you, I found a fellowship of people. I found a lot of people that are interested in the same ideas and talking about it in the right spirit. And just reach out to me and I point to some of their channels or play clips and yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So the number one thing is interest, right? So they have to first be interested in some way, shape, or form. And happy Hanukkah, Jacob. The oh, I got you. Yeah. No. So yeah, I guess I'm curious. The reason I'm asking Jacob this question is because he thinks differently than most people in the corner. And I haven't had any success at applying strategies that most people would use. And if Jacob does believe that this space is good, then he might have a constructive answer to my question. Now, I think Jacob in his heart is debating whether or not this space is good. I think he's on the fence about that.
No.
But
So I have created as big of a space as I can through my channel and through my Discord. And my channel is very well defined, as is my Discord. And I have made sure to define it, and I do invite people constantly into my channel and my Discord. The question becomes, where does the space I have created, where does it fit in supposedly this little corner or the Jordan Peterson sphere? And to the degree that I have been following Paul VanderKlay's lead, which I was for a very long time, I felt fine with that. When he refused to take responsibility for Bridges of Meaning, I left Bridges of Meaning. And when after ARC, it became clear that he needed to step up, and he didn't, and he's not stepping up, I started looking more towards another leader, which is really Jonathan Pageau. And to the degree that I can be supportive of and be included in Jonathan Pageau's hierarchy, I will continue to do that. The main reason why I cannot be as involved in Pageau's hierarchy is because it is defined in such a way that I cannot trespass on what he is doing, which is all to his credit. Now, I mean, I don't know what more I can say about that. What's become clear to me is that Paul VanderKlay right now is not willing to take responsibility for leadership. And I don't own the man. I can't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. I wouldn't make him do anything he doesn't want to do.
Yeah. So we were just having this discussion earlier today on a non-estuary that Chad hosted. And the discussion was that in a time of deconstruction where everything is being deconstructed, is there any value in having a thing that's not a thing? So what I mean by that is my diocese in the Catholic Church is bankrupt because of sex abuse scandals. It is because of the centralized nature of the Catholic Church, the properties that are registered, and this is all public knowledge, by the way, everything I'm saying. So the properties that are registered to the Catholic Church are thus within the jurisdiction of the bankruptcy court to close, sell, etc. And in that situation, the churches that are staying alive are, I don't know the word, the deed is like registered locally at the local church, at the local parish, so that the bankruptcy court does not have jurisdiction over their deeds. And so I see things like this, like that phenomena. I see what's happening to other churches, other, corporate structures that are being attacked, the college institution, like what's happening at Harvard and, all the other places where donations plummet, et cetera. And is there wisdom in this time if the storm is raging on the surface, instead of us trying to build a structure on the surface, is there wisdom to us just being on the ocean floor where we can't really move that quickly, where not much happens, but there's nothing to destroy here because there's nothing incorporated. There's not a physical entity to target.
There's definitely the idea of being the gorillas, that are GUERILLA, that are out in hiding and not having. First of all, you don't want to create a structure that will be stifling. You don't want to over-define things, but there is a limit to what you can accomplish with insufficient structure. And my hope is for the kingdom of God to be manifest on earth. So, I think when Sam Tiedemann, it was
Sam Adams.
He used to go by Sam Adams. His
I
middle
love
name
it.
actually is Adams.
Oh,
So-
I think I remember that. I think I do actually remember a conversation about that, but I forgot about it.
He used to go by Sam Adams, and we had to keep his last name secret. When Sam Tiedemann was first wanted to create a structure, I told him it was too early. This was 3-4 years ago. We're past that stage, and yes, we will be attacked. At some point, you're going to have to either be willing to fight or not. You have to pick your battle, and they're picking the wrong battle. For example, right now, I think the gender ideology people are trying to fight with the Cass report, which came out on Wednesday, which is what I actually wanted to talk about, but nobody is that interested in right now. But and I think they're choosing the wrong battle, and they're going to lose. Yes, I know you don't believe that, Trey, but you know nothing. But there's a time to fight, and there's a time, and knowing when that is difficult. So I hope I'm right in that we need more structure than we had before. I may be wrong, but I only know what I know.
See, I think of the last 8 years as a spirit that came about completely. How do I say this?
Bad guys.
Oh, good night, chat.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. What we seem to be doing, let's say in the spirit of Dialogos, whatever you want to call it, it seems to be the counter spirit of the age, where the counter spirit of the age is to divide along conventional lines, whether it's race, class, sex, pick your whatever. That's been the spirit of the age of the last 8 years. And somehow what we seem to be doing for the most part seems to be immune to that. For the most part, not entirely. And I think that's one of the most beautiful and precious things about this space, but it's a spirit in that no one's controlling it really.
That's cool.
Well, I have it. What, Jacob?
It's bullshit.
You cannot judge my phenomenological experience in this space, and I'm comparing my.
Yes, I can. Neil.
No, you can't, because
Yes,
it's my
I can.
phenomenological experience. And we
Neil,
just drove everybody else out.
No,
Yep.
or you can be wrong,
Sure.
and I can tell you you're wrong. Now you may disagree with me, okay, but this idea that there's nobody controlling that's not how human relationships work. As long as there's a third person, right? As long as it's not between the two of us, right? There are decisions which are being made, and
what? How does your conception of the right brain versus left brain fit into that conception of control? So, have you been following McGilchrist at all on the left brain, right brain dichotomy?
I read the Master and His Emissary.
Because when you say control, I'm thinking planned, orchestrated, and you might be thinking subconscious spells.
Oh, no. Nobody. I mean, there's no spirit of geometry, and in fact, the fact is there are. So now I will speak like the woke. Like when you study human organizations, oftentimes we're not aware of the controls and the systems that are working. So decisions may be being made in ways that no individual person is aware of, but that simply means that they're ignorant decisions and there's no light there, right? We're not seeing what's happening. That doesn't mean that we're not, like, praxis is real, right? So the fact that people watch homeroom, right, that there is a mob, right? Mobs form, and without clear leadership, which is what I am scared of, right? Mobs will be overtaken by a demonic spirit, right?
The closest I've seen the TLC come to that is, for example, the Rick Walker interview with PVK, where he'll bring in somebody from outside that stinks of something that the corner is highly, highly suspicious of. So something I've learned in this space, is that we're not against hierarchy within this space. What we're against is hierarchy that comes in from the outside and demands to be treated hierarchically based on what's outside of TLC. What is earned within this space is treated as just hierarchy, let's say. So Sam Tiedemann has hierarchy within this space. Luke Thompson has hierarchy within the status, you can say, whatever. They have hierarchy within this space, not because of what they brought from outside the space in, but because of their participation and their street cred, whatever you want to call it, within this space. That has brought them hierarchy across time. Now, Father Eric has also gained that street cred participating in this space across time. No, I'm serious.
I'm laughing at CW Mick saying Jacob loves ball.
I was trolling you in the comments. I got you. Yeah. Well, I saw CW in the comments said I do not yet know Jacob, and he's right. I'm getting to know you slowly, but that's why I'm joining these, because I want to get to know you.
Chad says, Jacob, the most demonic spirits I've witnessed in this space are conjured by your fears. That's possible. That's possible. I do not but again, part of that is there's no leadership, and where there's no visible leadership, there will be invisible leadership. Now, the fact is, Paul Vanderklay has been doing the Protestant thing, which is creating hierarchy while denying that there's a hierarchy, which is what Protestants do. No, seriously, that is
No, it's the shadow hierarchy, like the shadow matriarchy sort of thing. I actually agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think where we disagree is how much of an issue it is. Here's where I disagree with you. I think is where Peterson says that if it's strictly a power relationship, right? If all the plumbers hierarchically organize themselves in a shadow plumber hierarchy based on their power, based on their arm wrestling capability as plumbers, right? Their sheer power puts them at the top of the plumber hierarchy. But that's my point about TLC, is that the shadow hierarchy of TLC is organized such that it's in direct proportion to the contributions of each person, to the extent that the community, and that's a democratized, I know you don't like that word now, but it's a democratized, you can call it the hive mind or whatever, based on what the community values as useful to the community. That's really the hierarchy that gets constructed within TLC.
Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to hierarchies of popularity.
That's true. That's what it is. That's what it is.
It is a hierarchy of popularity, and those somewhat work. I prefer hierarchies of competence to hierarchies of popularity. And yeah, we are in a mostly what I see is hierarchies of popularity, but in this little corner, mostly popularity, not completely, follows competence, which is good and nice.
Yes, and is competence in one specific factor that I think is key, which is the ability to prioritize the individual over the abstract or the idea, the ability to prioritize the person. So what I mean by, so an example of that is Luke on his live streams prioritizing the new person, or even the person who does not speak well or is lacking confidence thus so far, that I've noticed Luke will go out of his way to create a space for that person to speak, or give them time, give them attention. And Luke will also go out of his way to comment on a new rando versus someone that he has not yet interacted with, because he's bringing what he's trying to do. And this is his left brain, though he sometimes says he's only right brain. He does have a left brain. But what his left brain is doing, his left hand's not telling his right hand what it's doing. But what it's doing is he's edifying the people who need some encouragement. Let's say the way Peterson talks about sometimes all a young man needs is encouragement. I see Luke doing this, and I also see this space as an opportunity to really get a college education in the liberal arts better than, well, anything that's free out there. Because if you participate in this space, you're going to learn to talk. If you participate in this space, you're going to learn to listen. If you participate in this space in a challenging environment like I'm in, it's not that challenging, but relatively contentious environment like I am right now, you're going to learn how to discern good ideas from bad ideas, make an argument, etc. So anyway, that's one thing that I know Luke is keeping in the back of his mind, that there are people who want to participate who are afraid to participate, but once you get them in, it's only going to edify them as individuals.
Okay, so this may be surprising to you, but it shouldn't be to anybody who's been around for long enough.
Sure.
If Grail Country was the spirit of this space, I would have nothing to do with it. Yeah. I think Luke and Nate are driving the wrong way. And part of that is particularly this democratization, like this personalism, I have open discussions and I let anybody come on, but there's a reason why people flee and are scared of coming onto my Just Chatting, because I pride myself in shutting up people who say stupid things, and I will kick them off my channel.
So under your model, how do you treat the student in a class? So what, I guess what I'm asking is, what if the School of Athens is the more apt model for what we're doing here? So let me give you an example, Jacob. A student wanders into your classroom. They have profoundly wrong ideas, but they're determined to learn, and they're incorrigible at first. They're difficult. You feel like they're leading other students astray in the things that they're saying and doing. What is your reaction to that as a teacher in the School of Athens?
I don't follow the School of Athens model. This is a Beit Midrash. This is the Jewish model. And my heroes are the Rogachover and the Satmar Rebbe and rabbis who were in no way shy about cutting down stupid ideas. And so
Is there a different? Oh, go ahead.
Someone comes with humility and starts asking me questions, then I will, to the best of my ability, teach them as much as I can. If somebody comes to me with a spirit of hubris and chutzpah, audacity, I will cut them down with words. Yeah. And this is how I see things working better.
It's funny. You basically stated Grimm's PvP server mantra. That's Grim Grizz.
Grim Grizz is one of the, so unlike Grail Country, Grim Grizz is one of the voices that I have been trying to elevate since the very beginning. Chad, Grim Grizz, and Sam Tiedemann are three people I will gladly fall in line behind when they have a place to lead.
Why those first two, Chad and Grim? Because they're not following your hierarchical model in their own personal lives, at least to the best of my experience in knowing them.
Grim is very hierarchical. If you haven't,
so it's in the nature of what Grim teaches, not necessarily the tradition that he follows.
It's a question of competency. Grim is competent. Chad is competent, and Sam Tiedemann is competent in ways where I can trust them. Right? That doesn't mean I follow them blindly. I don't follow anybody blindly. But I place their voices very high because they are competent and have wisdom and have a capacity to see things. So I have always told the Jihad, if you have something to say to me, I want to hear it and I will pay attention to it. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it.
Can I ask a very random question, which will determine how I take this conversation? And I know it seems somewhat unrelated, but within your religious framework, does evolution have a place?
I don't even know what you mean by that.
Within your understanding of science, are you okay with me bringing evolution into this conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if you think of any evolutionary system, any system in which there's replication, there's competitive advantage, or there's fit advantages. So let's say religion, for that matter. Let's say so I heard you say earlier, let me try to take it from a different avenue. I heard you say earlier in the conversation that there are multiple avenues to God, which I also believe wholeheartedly. And I believe that God gave me a specific one that it's my duty, my responsibility to follow, or, well, I was led to be assured that there would be not good consequences. Hey, Andrew, what's up? Yeah. So the reason I bring up evolution.
Your mic is loud. I muted you. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. The reason I bring up evolution, I'll try to get to the point as quickly as I can. The way I see the different branches of Christianity, especially Protestantism, but also you could even say this within the Catholic Church, within the different orders of Catholicism that have sprouted up over. I don't know how much you know about the history of that. But what typically happens is there's a niche that's not being filled in some way, shape, or form in a local community. And within Protestantism, a church splits or branches, right? It speciates in evolutionary thinking. You have the species that fits the niche for that circumstance. And within the Catholic Church, the same thing happens, but it's just splitting orders. Let's say the Dominicans, and then the Franciscans, and now I'm part of the Salesians. Actually, my church is St. John Bosco. Anyway, so what I wanted to bring up. Hey, Sherry, good to see you.
Hi.
What I wanted to bring up was this same phenomena, a speciation in relation to TLC, in that you have many, many different personality types, many personality types with many faith traditions, and many ways of, let's say, relating to other people in proper fellowship aimed at God. And is it not to be expected? I'm not even no moral judgments at this and with what I'm about to say. Isn't it the inevitable outcome of any competitive? I won't even say competitive. Any system where there's different players all aiming at the same goal. There's a system with different players aiming at the same goal, and all of those aims are not always going to accomplish at the same level of efficacy what they're aiming at. Isn't the inevitable product of a system like that speciation into different styles, avenues, veins, whatever you want to call that, for different like this is my understanding of evolutionary theory. Doesn't matter the substrate does not matter. It doesn't matter if it's biological, doesn't matter if it's economics, doesn't matter if you have differential fitness towards a telos, you end up with different species of the thing, different economic strategies. You have Walmart and Amazon, because you see where I'm getting at. So what I'm saying, the channelization of TLC with different styles and attitudes is inevitable, is what I'm saying. It's inevitable. You'll have a black market system in a totalitarian system that tries to control everything, where there's a certain subset of the population that's not being served by the totalitarian system.
Okay.
North Korea has a thriving black market. The reason Catholicism does not have a thriving black market, you're not getting what I'm saying, so I keep talking.
The word you're looking for is subsidiarity. Okay? And the fact is that if you try to be totalitarian, if you try to control things from too high of space in the hierarchy will crumble. Right? And any system that does not practice subsidiarity, which is leaving control to the lowest level possible, right, will in fact end up crumbling, because it will stultify and it will be just too rigid. Okay? That is not the same thing as fracturing the way Protestant theology teaches us to do. Very unfortunately, I have found myself in a situation where I find that the enemy is being the enemy, as in the problem, as in, now I'm going to get Chad mad, but as in that which I see is hindering our further progress is most aptly named in this little corner as Protestantism.
Don't you see that various churches within that vein are
Chad, you don't
automatically
believe
dying out.
that.
Yeah.
Chad, you don't believe that. So stop. And frankly, you probably don't want to be watching this because it's obviously making you angry.
I actually agree with Jacob on that, Chad. If you're taking it personally, I would just step aside, because it's really not my intention with this discussion. It's actually quite the opposite. It's
Chad,
ironic that Discord causes
I may be
discord.
wrong, but I am not being dishonest. I am being as honest as I can. I don't believe that I am dishonest. I try very much not to be dishonest.
I think you're being who you are, Jacob. So, what was I gonna say? Shoot. So the subsidiarity, I completely agree, but the orders within the Catholic Church, the different orders, have their own subsidiarity, and they have their own niches within the Catholic Church. Like I know a lot about the Salesians, because that's where my church is, and they specifically serve the young and the poor, because that was a niche that was missing from their environment, and now they're actually the largest order in the Catholic Church, though nobody knows about them, called the Salesians. Now, the size of an order grows or shrinks based on the utility, based on what value, how much of a niche is there. The Salesians are huge in Asia, and I believe Africa as well, because there's orphans, just poverty rampant. And so my point with the order example within the Catholic Church is there is levels of subsidiarity, but there's also speciation to fill a particular niche. So it's a both and, is my point.
So subsidiarity is a Catholic religious doctrine.
I know.
Speciation
I know that.
is
The Salesians report up to the Pope the same way the Dominicans report up to the Pope. But what I'm saying is there's a hierarchy of Salesians. There's a hierarchy of Franciscans, and for the most part, they have autonomy to operate within the bounds that they are given as Franciscans and Salesians. Now, they can't just decide to do something that's outside of bounds of what the Salesians would do. But my point is that those lines exist. Yeah.
But they are in one hierarchy.
Correct. But that's like saying Judaism, Islam, Christianity all need to be in the same hierarchy, if you believe that.
Well,
versus placing it firmly. Well, it is, right? It's placed firmly in God. So it's the question of, do we place the hierarchy, or does God determine the hierarchy?
This goes back to the very beginning, where
and it is a both and, Jacob. Honestly, I don't think we're that far off on this in terms of our conception.
I'm not even sure what you're trying to get at.
No, what I'm trying to get at is the inevitability of speciation So my background is economics. I understand economics fairly well. And I understand how black markets start when a specific, like Luke, where I probably disagree the most with on Luke, number one thing probably is the value of capitalism. And I fundamentally understand the value of capitalism because I understand the value of efficient markets. Okay. And I also understand that when you try to formally structure something that is not the appropriate structure, or if it's not ready for the structure, you inevitably get arbitrage, side markets, stuff under the surface. It's like the legal, like if you make something illegal, then it happens on the side anyway. And maybe you could shut down some of it, but not all of it, versus if you make it legal and then you regulate it, you have a much better sense of controlling it. Maybe my point is not making any sense. I'm saying
Okay, Neil. Okay, I am trying to understand what you're saying, and as best as I can get at what you're trying to say is, Jacob, don't try to control everything.
That's the general gist, correct?
Okay, I'm not trying to control everything.
Okay.
I have no idea what makes you think I was trying to control everything.
I had to go 30 minutes on evolution to make that point.
Like, Neil, try just like telling me what you're thinking, and we'll take it.
But then you wouldn't have the mosaic vision of Neil Jordan. You wouldn't have it.
So this is what I don't like about Grail Country, is the obfuscation and
Of poetry. Poetry is very obfuscating. It's very hard to understand precisely what it means and when it means it. Did it mean the same thing 200 years ago that it means now?
Now I'm going to have to find. Now I'm going to have to search through Kale Zeldin's feed and find where he reads my favorite Shakespearean sonnet. I can't believe you're going to make me do this.
Do it.
Where's Kale Zeldin's channel? There he is. And where am I going to find this sonnet? You guys talk amongst yourselves while I found this.
Yeah, Andrew, what did you have to say? I'm curious about your thoughts, Andrew.
Head empty, no thoughts.
Oh, that's not true. You've been absorbing corner content for quite some time. I'm sure you have quite a few thoughts in there. Maybe humility.
So how is your day?
I had a pretty good day. This is my third conversation today. So I don't know why I'm so jazzed up. I don't know. But I go where the spirits take me.
Let's go.
But we were talking about, I mean, we had a not an estuary conversation. And one of the things that we were talking about was the value of being a non-defined thing, because it's very hard to destroy a non-defined thing. When you name it, then it's much easier to both define it, control it, change it, and destroy it. So there's value. I think in the present time, there's a value in being fire ants. So we'll see. But it's getting late, Jacob. So I do want to be for your poetry, but then I got to go. Yeah, okay. Go for it.
Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare.
That is my favorite song.
I appreciate our discussion, Jake. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to high five your dreidel.
Other side.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know if I'm going to keep the dreidel or not. Should I keep the dreidel, Shari?
Dreidel.
Wait. What if can I do a Michael?
Made out of clay.
Can I do a Michael Jordan? Can I do?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Pretty
go.
good. There we go. I can't hold it. I can't hold it. Ah!
Dreidel, 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 my dreidel, I would. I like the dreidel, actually.
Somebody made a joke about what I said is this, nobody said this channel is not Jewish enough, and Benjamin Franklin said it'll only be Jewish enough when you have a spinning dreidel going the whole time. So I went ahead and
Well, yeah.
added a spinning dreidel.
I mean, it's pretty obvious why I like dreidels.
Oh yeah, you're spinning wool. Yeah. How have you been? How's Wally?
He's
Well-
good. Wally, and I'm good. Yeah, and
How's my favorite dog north of the border?
Hulk, the Hulkinator.
I love huge dogs, and Hulk is just tiny.
He's good too. They're all good. The dogs are all good, and yeah, we're just doing, farm stuff. And spring is coming slowly. It's been still freezing at night here, so
Oh, you guys must be covered in snow right now.
no, we have no snow. We had
Really?
hardly any snow all winter, so it's kind of it's been a weird winter. Very dry, and I'm glad that it hasn't warmed up too much, because we would have fires already, I'm sure.
Wow. Interesting.
You know how dry it is here. You've been here.
I have been there. It wasn't dry when I was there.
You didn't think it was dry? Remember when
No.
when we drove down the road and I said just stay behind me a bit because of the dust?
Oh, I just figured that's because it's
It's pretty dry here, Jacob. It's a drier climate here.
apparently there's a fire in Minnesota. By the way, Garth, CW totally doxed your girlfriend. Sent me a picture of your girlfriend, and so next time you see him, you can punch him in the nose, because now I know what your girlfriend looks like.
So I just jumped in because I heard Girl Country and I missed the whole first part, and I don't want you to go on another long rant or anything, but
Well, Neil is trying to figure this little corner out, and so David, are you in SoCal? You should come and say hi. I am in SoCal, and no, CW is in Minnesota. So, and he was mentioning Luke and, hey, Garth, how you doing?
Hi,
Good.
Garth.
So, okay, hey, Sherry. I don't think I've ever been in the stream with you before, Sherry.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. But, anyway, little backstory about me. I am one of Jacob's secret cabal. So, there's that. Also, Jacob, what picture did CW send you with the girlfriend? Was it like a big group of people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I planned that event for the estuary.
Yeah, I mean, it was a group of people, but there was one person I didn't recognize who you were standing right next to, and I was like, hey, is that Garth's girlfriend? He's like, yes, it is.
Yeah, that's her. Yep.
Yeah. So when's the wedding?
Well, I mean, I could show you the ring right now, actually.
Really?
Yeah, here, let me get it. I'll be right back.
Is she watching this stream by any chance? I hope not. Okay, good.
Well, even if she was, she knows about it, so it's not like
Okay.
it's not a surprise proposal. I guess it's like
Okay.
we talked about it. We agreed that we want to get married, and so I'm like, okay, expect a ring at some point, and she's like, cool. So,
Cool.
Nice.
So there it is. Oh gosh.
It's
Okay.
solitaire. What
Very pretty.
is that? A sapphire?
It is a sapphire. It is a star sapphire.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I looked up different gems, and so I just picked aquamarine and sapphire because that's our birthstones.
Okay.
But I figured out that there is a thing called a star sapphire, where if you shine a little light on it, it will have like three lines making a 6-pointed star on it.
Oh, nice. I approve.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a great ring. It put a dent in my finances, but it is a great ring.
It's well worth it. I hope she wears it in good luck. And so I'm guessing Paul Entleitner is still your pastor?
Yep, I mean I'm still going to that church, so that would.
He's going to do the wedding? Probably? Haven't decided?
Well, you know what? I'd have to think about that because both Ashtony and I do have relatives who are actually pastors.
No. Okay.
and or can marry us. I wouldn't be opposed to him, and I don't think he wouldn't mind if he did, but we will have to think about that.
Yeah.
So we haven't
If
decided.
you have family who's you'll figure it out. But yeah, beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I would say our future is looking pretty good, and so all things are well. I have not much to report on.
This makes me very happy. David Walker.
Hello. It's been a minute.
It's been a very long time.
Yeah. Sorry.
You moved to SoCal?
Yeah, I did. Probably like 2 weeks ago now.
Where are you in SoCal?
I'm in the Valley area, I guess.
San Fernando Valley?
Yeah. Like Mission Hills area.
I live in Sylmar.
Nice. Yeah.
My office was in Pacoima. My current office is actually in Panorama City.
Nice. Okay, not very far.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to have lunch soon.
Yeah, definitely. I've been trying to reach out to some people. I think I'll get together with Justin Wells.
Yeah, he's out in Pasadena. You might want to actually go to one of the estuaries in Chino.
That's all I could find.
Yeah, sometimes every once in a while, when Trey wants to go, so Trey works near LAX, I pick him up at work and we drive out and we come back. So if you want to do that, we can do that. And I will definitely try to come to the wedding, Garth. But so I live not too far from UCLA. So you are always welcome to my place if you want to come by and meet Shadow and Happy. And yeah, so we have a little Los Angeles crew going. So
yeah,
Andrew's part of it, despite the fact he lives in Irvine and doesn't have a car.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Does Andrew know what type of car he wants?
A cheap one, probably.
Well, if you're getting a used car, get either a Toyota or a Honda.
2002 Honda Civic.
Heck, Honda Civic Type R. Then you'll be cruising, and then you can get babes. There you go.
You realize he's pretty tall, and a Honda Civic is going to make him miserable.
No. Honda Civics have enough legroom in there. Like
They do?
it's not yeah, like compact sedans, it's like it's not totally like oppressive to tall people. I drive a compact sedan. It's okay. Like he's not going to be driving like a Suzuki Cappuccino or something like that. Like that is a clown car.
How tall are you, Andrew?
6'4".
Oh, it'll look funny though. It'll look funny. I had a buddy. He's like 6'4", 6'6", maybe. He's like a giant, but he had like a 2000s Toyota Camry or whatever, and it just always cracked me up. Like looking at him drive. This is really.
David, you're a painter, right?
Yeah, I've recently retired from that. Right now, I've applied to a couple painting jobs around here that I might follow up on, but we'll see.
There's a lot of demand.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get. There's actually somebody at the estuary who's a contractor, and his name's David too, if I remember correctly. Right, Andrew? His name's David.
Say again, who?
The contractor guy who comes with his wife.
To Estuary?
Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering his name.
David.
But yeah, you should have zero problems finding jobs as a professional painter in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I already have like
I'm
a
going, David.
part-time job
Thank you.
lined up.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye.
Bye, Sherry. Yeah, I have a part-time job lined up with it's like a weird job. It's like mobile obstacle course company.
Okay.
So kind of a
It's not
odd
letting
job.
me leave, Jacob.
You're captive,
Jacob,
Sherry.
sorry.
You're staying.
Yeah, it says leave and open uploads page. What the heck?
Oh, you can just close it. Don't worry about it.
Well, if I click on leave, it's going to open an uploads page.
You should be able to cancel it, I think.
Yeah, but then if I
Yeah.
click on leave studio, it comes up again.
Here, let me do this. Hopefully that helped. Sorry. Yeah, so it has recording.
You should be able to just click the Leave Studio button, and then
Yeah,
just like exit from the
doing
browser.
This weird thing with like asking people to it's telling me you have low disk space. If you look on the recording tab, I think it'll tell you the upload details. And like people have left without without completing the upload. Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. It's StreamYard being weird. Maybe in the future I'll remove recordings. We'll see. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. David, we were talking about you moving to Los Angeles. How come you moved to? Feel free to be like, I don't want to talk about this on a stream, but like.
No, I would. It's definitely been like a process for sure, but I had lived here like 2 years ago, and I always wanted to get back. I had no idea it would take so long to get back, and it was kind of a fall out of the sky thing, where I had met a girl who linked me up with somebody else that had a place for me to move into, and they were doing like film stuff and trying to get some short films made into like film festivals. And so it was all really crazy how it happened, like so fast. But I met the guy in February, like very early February. And then it was like up to me of like, all right, how fast can you get out here? And so I just kind of like upended everything and made it happen. So
Wow.
that's why I've been absent for so long. Like kind of this whole winter, I was like going through it, I guess, like mentally and like all that sort of stuff. But I did it. So here I am.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to have you. That's funny because so Max just moved down here from San Francisco. and Elijah is also in the process of moving to Southern California because of some family stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is yeah.
Yeah, I kind of knew this would be a cool spot for just like growing in person stuff with this corner as well, because that's where it's at. I don't know.
I hope so. I mean, I'm trying, kind of, but like, for a long time, I wanted to move out of Los Angeles, but like, I gave up. I was like, that's not going to happen. So I'm like, we do what we do here. Yeah. So Trey's in Los Angeles, Andrew's in Los Angeles. There are 2 Maxes in Los Angeles. Those are the 4 of us that get together most often.
Okay. Yeah.
Does Los Angeles have the worst traffic in America, or is it Chicago?
Well, okay, it's not as bad traffic as New York, but New York has a public transit system. Los Angeles does not. Not really.
Yikes.
So if you want to get anywhere in Los Angeles, it used to be absolutely impossible without a car. Now it is actually somewhat possible. And of course there's Uber, but yeah, basically, I mean, so to get from Mission Hills to where I am, right now, 20-25 minutes,
Yeah.
generally an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah. A wise Uber driver once said to me, he was like, if the traffic bothers you so much, you just shouldn't live here.
I mean,
Just don't let it bother you.
that's the same logic with Minnesota. It's like, if the cold bothers you, then don't live here.
Yeah.
And I've heard of a lot of people here who will move away from Minnesota because they're like, it's just too cold here, and I hate it. And so they move away.
Okay, who has the bird in the background?
Oh, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering who has the bird. I did not know you had pet birds, Andrew.
Yeah, my parents got them when I was away. I'm not saying I like them too much, but
When were you away?
yeah, for college.
Oh, I see. So
They don't do much. They stay in the cage. They tweet a lot. Yeah.
Aw, sad.
CW, did you actually listen to that podcast I sent you that was talking about the Hasidic community in Minneapolis? It didn't really talk too much about Minneapolis, but like I was listening. CW texted me, and at that moment, I was listening to somebody talking about the Hasidic community in Minneapolis. So. Or maybe he said St. Paul, because apparently, like, the Hasidic community in St. Paul is very different from the Hasidic community in Minneapolis, and the twain shall never meet. Like, they apparently get offended if you confuse the two.
I hear a lot of migrants move to Minnesota, which I always find like shocking. Like, why would you want to move to Minnesota? It's such a terrible. It's just cold. I don't get it.
If I had to guess, it's probably, I don't know. I would guess it had to be family or connections or something.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like that's like really the only reason where it's like if they know someone up here, then they'll move. And most likely it's going to be somewhere around the Twin Cities.
Yeah, the Persian the Persian community is mostly in Los Angeles because everybody moved. Like one family member moved, and then everybody ended up my entire family is in Los Angeles basically.
Yeah, like at my workplace, there are some janitors. It's like they're very clearly Mexican, and it's like there's a portion of them that do not speak English very well, I don't know if they're illegals or if they are just like, here as like actual immigrants. But I can definitely tell that it's like they're a whole family that are just kind of working these like janitor jobs on my factory floor. So,
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, yeah, Americans will move for work, but it's like a lot of other people, they will move for family.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, I really would. I mean, I don't like living in California. I don't like living in Los Angeles. I have all my entire life. But like when I was a while back, I seriously considered moving out of Los Angeles, and I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I was really sleepy, and I turned to flush, and I fell onto the toilet bowl on my rib. Right? And it was really painful. I crawled back into bed. And then I woke up in the morning and I could not move at all. Right? And my only choices were to call an ambulance or to call my parents. And I called my parents, and they came and they took me to the emergency room. Actually, urgent care, not emergency room. And I actually at the Facey Mission Hills. So if you need health insurance, we should talk.
I might have to, actually. Funny you say that.
I'm an insurance broker still. But you reminded me because you're in Mission Hills. The Facey Mission Hills is pretty good. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah. So, and I had cracked ribs and I bruised rib, and like for the next 3 days, like, and there's nothing they can do other than give you painkillers. For the next 3 days, I was a complete invalid, and I was thinking, oh my God, if I had no family, I have zero idea what I would be doing right now.
Yeah.
Like how I would be living. Which helped convince me, yeah, Jacob, you're never leaving Los Angeles.
Yeah. I don't know. I came here mostly for the people to get something started or whatever, and I just find people here are a lot more motivated to do something in life. I don't know. I was originally from Missouri, and everybody there is kind of like same day, every day, kind of comfortable or whatever, and that's fine. But
they were living in misery.
Yeah, I mean, misery at least would be a little more motivational. But yeah, I don't know. They're all actually quite comfortable, I suppose, and that's what it is.
No, so I don't know if that's true or not. I was making a joke, but because I don't know how Missouri is. I've like been through the state that that's it.
He's practicing to become a father, so he has to tell dad jokes.
That's right.
Yes, I've heard it. I've said it myself, unfortunately, as cringe as that is.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I bet that's a very common misery joke.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Same with Iowa.
What is the Iowa joke?
Oh, okay. So, did you know that Iowa is actually an acronym? Do you know what that acronym stands for?
Iowa?
No, that's good. But it stands for Idiots Out Walking Around.
Nice.
It's like when I lived in Iowa for a few years, it was like that was a big thing. And each state kind of has their own like little thing about them.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, CW. If we meet up again, you'll have to tell me about that because it actually sounds interesting.
I can't see the chat. What's interesting?
CW is talking about worthless policy stuff nobody cares about.
Oh.
CW, like, if you're gonna just sit there typing in the chat, come on, you can just jump on and we can see the red room.
Yep, his awesome room.
His awesome red room. Yes, the red room.
Oh gosh, the Red Room.
Have you seen the red room?
The movie? I mean, I've heard of what Red Rooms are, but
No. What's CW's channel?
Christian Diaspora. I think you could also find it under his name too.
Christian Diaspora. Actually, why am I doing that? I should probably find it when he was on my channel because I can't. It's not your channel's too small to find on.
Hold on, I'm subscribed to him.
I am subscribed to him. It's still not coming up in the chat what can we call it?
There we go.
Where'd you put it?
It's just in chat. It's there.
There it is. Okay.
Free advertisement for CW.
Okay. So there's CW and there's him with the red room.
Yeah. And I've been in that room before, and it's awesome.
I have not been in that room.
Yes, he invited me to his house, and I got to look at all his things, and he invited me there.
That's the red room.
Yes.
Oh, that's very nice.
The coolest thing is easily the Sega Dreamcast kiosk right there.
Oh, whoa.
And that thing is functional. I didn't use it, but it is functional. So,
What does he use it for?
They play?
Well, yeah, well, you can play it, but
okay.
CW, he loves Sega.
Did any of you guys know who Andre Henry is? CW told me, "Oh, I'm gonna have Andre Henry on my channel." I'm like, "Who?" And he's like, "He's famous." So I Google him, and it comes up with like a basketball star. Like, what? Like, and CW is like, "No, why?" Like the first Google thing, and it's like it was the first Google thing.
Oh yeah, that was his most recent video. Yeah, I don't like he's. I mean, I watched that video. He's not a guy where it's like you can Google him and he'll be the first result or something. He's not Google search famous. Let's say that.
So is it the singer-songwriter guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yep.
So now he's showing up, but like before it was like UCI athletics, men's basketball. I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is.
Oh, and yeah, and don't forget he has the Jacques Adnet desk, which is a fancy desk. So I have no idea about who that person is, but it is impressive, I think.
I'm still wondering because I recommended CW read Halachic Man, which was one of our book clubs. And CW does the CW thing. Not only does he get Halachic Man, he got like 3 or 4 commentaries on it that I didn't even know existed. And so he read all 3 of them, I guess. And he supposedly, the last thing he told me about it is, it blew his mind and we're going to have to talk about it, but he hasn't told me whether he liked it.
Hey, that's his next channel video. There you go.
Halachic Man.
Why not?
I would if you make a video on Halachic Man, I will definitely watch it.
I know that you would be in chatting with him about Halachic Man.
I would love
videos.
I would love to discuss CW, you should in fact jump on so we could discuss Halachic Man. I would be I am very, very curious to know what CW. I offered for CW to stream on my channel Duties of the Heart every day, and he refused.
He's a hard guy to get.
He is.
I have firsthand experience of this.
I was like 5 minutes a day of 10 minutes a day of Duties of the Heart, according to the schedule. You could finish the entire thing in 1 year. It would be beautiful. I still think you should do it, CW. Andrew, say something wise or otherwise.
I'm muted. That's a problem.
It is.
Yeah. Where'd you get this from?
Google.
Why is it up there?
So we were talking, and I said that nobody's ever complained about this channel not being Jewish enough. And Benjamin Franklin said this channel will only be Jewish enough when there is a dreidel spinning the whole time. So.
That's perfect.
This channel will never be Jewish enough unless there's a perpetually spinning dreidel in the back. So there you go.
There it is.
I aim to please.
Ben Franklin died like 100 years ago, man. I think he... What? What?
You saying something over there?
Huh?
You gonna share with the class?
So how was your day?
It was a good day. I went and saw that Civil War movie.
Ooh, how was it?
It was fine.
Which
Okay.
war movie?
The brand new one. It's like the America Civil War or whatever.
Okay, how
Is it the
How-
1619 project on as a video?
The politics of it were like hilariously bad, but I realized quite quickly it wasn't about being some sort of accurate telling of a Civil War. I wrote a Substack on it. Go check it out. But it was clearly more, interestingly enough, it was more about the journalism thing, and like it was like critiquing war journalism, I think. And I actually think, I said it in the post that I made, I think they purposely made the politics bad. Otherwise, it would have distracted from the main message of the movie, which is much more salient to like the Ukraine and Israel-Palestine situation, where it's like they're literally just kind of feasting off of people's dead bodies. But again, the politics were like atrociously bad, I will say. Yeah, I don't know. Good Lord.
It's because looking at the trailers, I haven't seen it, but just looking at the trailers, like it does not look like it's a film about journalism. Like it is not. It doesn't look like it's advertised like that.
Yeah, they were totally fishing for like a culture war thing, and again, like you could be distracted by that, but that would be a distraction. I think.
It's the Barbie movie effect, where
Yeah.
it's like the main hook is like, oh, it's kind of like, about culture war feminism. Then it's like, oh, it's like the movie is actually trying to like convey something deeper about, whatever thing it chooses. I feel like there's. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say with the Barbie movie, I think it was actually the opposite, where it was like it was trying to sell you on like some sort of like glitz and glam thing for it to get you in the theater, so it could preach to you about how women are.
My favorite
should be
part
the
of the
rule.
Barbie movie is like when Ryan Gosling, literally me, has a literally me moment, right? They just put like a literally me
Heck
edit
yeah.
right in the movie, and I'm like, what's happening here? Am I supposed to like, gain self-consciousness or something? Like just
Although it's kind of interesting because you have like Barbie who's up here and Ken who's like down here, right? And then as the movie progresses, is like they both switch places, and then the movie tries to have it to where they both like meet in the middle, right? Like that's the whole structure of the movie, and that's why I think Ken is better in that film.
Yeah.
Because he goes from nothing, right, to up, and then he like loses it all, which to me is like, I don't know. I feel like I just like that type of storytelling more than like having like being at the top and then losing everything and then gaining it back. To me, I don't know.
tragic hero.
Yeah, yep. It's a tragic hero story.
Totally. Good God.
David.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like for a perfect example, I will say this just because like this will kind of illustrate how removed from reality the politics are in that Civil War movie. Can I kind of spoil it a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm fine.
Okay, like toward the end, they're like, first off, the secessionists are like going to take the White House in Washington, which is like just okay. That's not how that works, but they get to the White House and they're gonna like kill the president, and like there's like a black woman basically leading or kind of second in command of the insurrection people, and she like shoots the president or whatever. And it's like that sort of stuff that like, yeah, it's very clearly like kind of removed from what the real issues are in America, I guess. But again, I think they just kind of like mixed it all up and jumbled it all up kind of on purpose to kind of not pay attention to that message, I suppose. Like they had there was a scene where it was like the guy where he had like the rainbow hair and he had painted nails and he was in a sniper shootout with nobody even knows. It was like, was that guy like the rebel or whatever? Like they had a couple moments, obviously, where they had like the kind of hillbilly people that were just like butchering thousands of bodies. Like they were just absolute barbarians. And I was like, yeah, I expected that, whatever. But honestly, they had less of that than I thought there would be. So whatever.
Wait, is it like the stereotypes are fighting the other stereotypes kind of thing?
Yeah, but
okay.
At some point, that all like goes like it's so again, it is super deeply confused of a movie. I don't know. It was mid, to be honest. Again, they did do a good job of like slam dunking on journalists, though, which I approve.
All right, I need to see if Tim Pool has made a review of this film.
I'm sure he'll spiral about the politics, I'm sure. But like I said, I dropped my Substack thing in the chat up there somewhere. So you can read my glorious take on it. Like the Substack post. Jeez.
Where is it?
I don't know. Somewhere in the chat. Who cares? I
Okay.
don't care. I'm not a shill. I do it for free.
I mean, shilling on this channel is not that much of a shill. I consider this like you're sharing like this thing you made with a group of friends rather than like, you know,
Share your Substack.
yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There you go.
How come I'm not seeing where you shared the Substack?
Let me do it again. I could do it again too. I have my phone right here. I've been pumping them since I moved out here with no job. And yes, by the way, CW, I actually compared the movie to Nightcrawler, or at least I said it would be a relative, because that's again much more what it would be related to than some sort of like, I don't know, Civil War narrative.
There it is.
Check out my other stuff on there. It's been going well on there. Got hot.
Is it a movie Substack?
Yeah, mostly. I try to keep it that way, but I can't help it. Sometimes I get like all philosophical, like an idiot. But
What's the most luxurious way to burn cash? Make a movie, of course.
there you go.
You misspelled citing. I cannot forgive you.
Dude, the worst thing about Substack is like I'll read it over and you can't fix your freaking spelling mistakes. So there was another one in there where I meant to say next and it said new. And I was like, oh. And there's like no way to edit them. Like that's why if you read other people's Substacks, there's like all these sort of.
I've edited my Substack.
I don't. Maybe there is. If there
I
is, that'd be incredible.
I'm pretty sure I have.
I think
Because I make mistake. I can't. If there was no way to edit spelling mistakes, I could not be on that platform. Like that would ruin me. Like I would have to delete my Substack rather than leave the spelling mistake there, because for the rest of my life I would be like,
I don't know. I shouldn't write so much on there, honestly, or at least like spend my time thinking about it, because my other stuff I want to write is much more important. So I just kind of keep that as like at least my writer brain is on. But
yeah, I was planning on blogging my way through my master's of social work.
yeah,
And like the first semester, first couple of quarters, I was like putting up my really cringy assignments and what I had to write, but I kind of gave up on that. Yeah, school isn't as woke anymore. Like the woke stuff is all at the very beginning, from what I can tell.
yeah.
And once you get a little further in, then the woke stuff kind of fades away, hopefully. Although not completely.
Ooh, TV was more magical than streaming. That's
I'm
interesting.
probably garbage. I wrote that a long time ago, so I apologize.
It's like only 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Nobody actually wanted to talk about the things I thought I was going to end up streaming about.
Super random question.
Yeah.
Some rebbe somewhere was like, "Hey, Hanukkah is like a good thing." Why?
Good question. So Hanukkah is actually a apocryphal Jewish holiday. literally apocryphal. It comes from the Apocrypha. It's not part of our Bible. It's like a tiny, tiny Jewish holiday that until 30, 40 years ago, like only the most religious Jews had ever heard of. And most Jews didn't even know it existed. And yeah, the Rebbe 40 or so years ago decided that it was really important to have, so the Code of Jewish Law actually says, based on the Talmud, that the main thing of Hanukkah is to advertise the miracle, and the Rebbe was like, yeah, so let's do that. And now Hanukkah has become like the biggest Jewish holiday, and everybody thinks it's like the biggest Jewish holiday, and to the point where like it may be the only Jewish holiday most people have heard of. But it's, yeah. And how he decided that, I have zero idea. But he did. And it happened. Yeah.
Well, I have like a friend who's like one of those, it's hard to describe, but just very kind of fundamentalist Protestant. And now he doesn't celebrate Easter because it's pagan, Christmas because it's pagan. But he still goes to a Christian church, but now he celebrates Hanukkah instead of Christmas. And I know his family are like, what's wrong with you type of thing. And like, your kids might still want Christmas, but he's like, but it's evil and pagan. And so I don't know. Seems like a bigger deal to Christians than it is.
I've never been convinced that Christmas is pagan. I've heard that argument before.
Tom Holland completely dismisses it.
Yeah, because it's like Christmas. What was it? Like the earliest that records that they have of like the traditional Christmas traditions that we have are from like, I think it's like 14th century Germanic people, like who were also Christians. So, and it's like there's like, I don't think there's any like evidence of the Christmas tradition as it's celebrated with like the Christmas tree.
Hold on, I thought Nicaea came up with the dates of the 25th of December.
The date maybe, but I'm talking about how like how the tradition itself is celebrated.
Like as far as the like,
Christmas tree
and
like going out to sing carols and everything. I think Jonathan Bijot, along with Richard Rowland, once mentioned how that like there were actually like that carols have been going on for like a while, but like a lot of like early carols were actually about like people partying and getting drunk or whatnot, and the church eventually is like, yeah, these are like these are pretty like bad carols that we probably shouldn't sing.
Well, the reason
church always ruining fun.
The reason I knew about the date was Father Stephen mentioned that apparently they based it on a Jewish tradition that a righteous person dies on the day that he was conceived. And Father Stephen said to me, I've never heard of such a tradition. And I was like, hold on, we have a tradition like that, and we do. But the tradition is a righteous person dies on the day he was born. And so they were off by 3 months because they thought Jesus died on Passover. So they did 9 months because he was 9 months after, because he must have been conceived on Passover, and
Yeah,
But-
it's like a sick. these type of people fail to understand cyclical time. They don't understand. It's all like internet brain rot, unfortunately. Like I've had like hours of conversations, and I've known this guy my whole life, and it doesn't matter because something he read on the internet said that Ishtar, some Babylonian god or whatever the hell, also sounds like Easter, and so it must be a thing. And it's like, dude, like, I don't know. It's sad. Really.
Oh, okay, David. There's a YouTube channel called Lutheran Satire, and they literally have like a video about. It's an Easter video where like Ishtar, the god, appears in front of the pastor and says, "Behold, I am God of Ishtar, who's responsible for Easter." And the pastor is like, "Yeah, no, this is like all bull crap. No, that's not true." It's actually a really funny video.
Yeah,
So,
the Christmas tree is a phallic symbol. I mean, it's just all like, it's so painful. And it's like, dude, seriously.
Look, if you think the Christmas tree is phallic, like that's like pure projection. I have no idea what to tell you.
It's
like,
what shape are the penises you've seen?
I know.
Well, actually, there's like the early what was it, recordings of like Christmas trees where like they were actually like just like poles or something, and like they would like have ribbons and they would be decorated, which is like the early interpretations of what a Christmas tree was, and eventually it's like they were Christmas trees. So
yeah, it's kind of like the maypole.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's like if someone is telling you should not get a Christmas tree because it's phallic, it's like, okay.
So in the Noahide community, there's a lot of people who do the whole Christmas tree and like there's that verse in Jeremiah about people worshiping trees. You know that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of in the Noahide community. There's a lot of that type of stuff. I think it's way overboard.
It's decorative. It's like putting up banners for a birthday party equivalent. That's what a Christmas tree is.
Well, obviously you've never been a JW. Like if the witnesses never have birthdays either, so there you go.
Ugh, yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's like this would be something I couldn't explain to most people, but like just saying something is pagan though. Like I know a lot of the Orthodox people get super up in arms. They're like, "No, it's Christian. It's Christian." And it's like it can be pagan, guys. It's fine. Like Jesus, it's not all. I don't know. I just don't find that to be like the end all be all. God forbid something was from somewhere else.
Look, we got to stop watching the Olympics. It's pagan, okay, guys?
Yeah.
Christian boycott on the Olympics.
I mean, if Christians were going to boycott everything that's pagan, they would have to boycott Christianity.
Yeah.
Ooh, shots fired.
Pretty much. Yeah, they I don't know. They wouldn't have anything.
Max!
Hello.
What's happening? Happy.
David just moved to Los Angeles.
Wow. Welcome to LA.
Yeah, the shining city.
A hundo P.
Yeah.
So Max scores movies, and David writes Substacks about movies. So there you go.
Yeah, you score movies. That's very cool.
Well, really TV, not really
Yeah.
movies, but you know, one of these days I'll get. I'm working my way up.
Yeah, that's what me and some people are trying to do. We're trying to make some short films and get them into film festivals. So I didn't just move here because it's a great place and super cheap.
Because the rent is low
Yeah,
and it's walkable.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
always
can't
make
beat
this
that.
joke about Italy, and like I think it's so funny whenever Italy shows up in conversation. I just go, "Man, Italy sucks. The women are ugly. The wine is bad. And nobody thinks it's okay. You guys think it's funny, awesome. Nobody else. The food is garbage. Nobody likes this joke in real life.
And have you ever tried their ice cream? Oh,
Yeah. I have a personal project going on right now, but it's not coming along as fast as I wanted. But I wanted to write a short film, like a little screenplay, but I said that I wouldn't let myself do it and make it a real thing until I had written 100 screenplays. And I wasn't allowed to write any of it down. So I've been using the voice memo app exclusively to write 100 screenplays, and then the 101st screenplay, then I'm allowed to make it a movie.
I think you're putting too many artificial barriers. in front of
David
yourself.
has a tuxedo cat.
I
That's-
do.
You're my best friend ever.
Oh, cool.
There's like 5 cats here. I think 5.
You have 5 cats?
They're not all mine. This girl rescues cats, so yeah.
He's a cat wrangler.
This
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah, that I'm living with. I'm
Your
not like
girlfriend,
seeing
or-
her or anything like that. I'm living with like 4 people, so.
Oh.
He's living in sin in a polyamorous.
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Question for the movie guys here. What is your favorite movie, and why is it The Holy Mountain?
It's an amazing movie.
What's the Holy Mountain?
I can't
It's
say
like-
it's my
Never seen
favorite.
that movie. What is it?
It's I actually haven't seen it myself.
Oh.
But it's just like it. But I know it's a film that a lot of like film people really
It's,
like, and
It's amazing. It's super. I grew up in California. Huh?
A 1973 film.
It's great. I grew up in California, so I like how Mexican it is. It's very Catholic and pagan and weird and voodoo and also 70s. It's cool, but it's not.
I really like Guillermo del Toro, so maybe I'll like this.
Should dig into it. Jodorowsky, I think, was Polish, but he grew up in maybe Mexico or Argentina or something.
Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Well, and Poland is very Catholic.
Yeah. I wonder, is he Jewish? Is Jodorowsky Jewish? I don't know. I haven't looked up this guy's Wikipedia in a while.
Early life. Jodorowsky was born in 1929 in the coastal town of Tocopilla, Chile, to parents who were Jewish immigrants from Yekaterinoslav. That's where the Rebbe was from.
Really?
Yeah. His father, Jaime Jodorowsky Groisman, was a merchant who was largely abusive to his wife, Sarah,
Oh.
and at one time accused her of flirting with a customer.
Hmm.
Angered, he subsequently beat and raped her, getting her pregnant,
And that kid was this director?
which led to the birth of Alejandro.
wow.
Because of this brutal conception, Sarah both hated her husband and disliked her son. I do not love you, and rarely showing him tenderness.
Wow, there's a lesson in there. I'm trying to figure out what it is. You know what's a good movie that I think Jacob
Hey,
is
I
good-
read this on Wikipedia. It must have been true.
Oh boy. Well, I like Titanic. That's my joke favorite movie. It's not
Okay.
really my favorite, but it is amazing. I defend it a lot. I think
Wait. Let's hear your real favorite movie. Come
Well,
on.
my real
Titanic cost me $200.
My real favorite movie probably is Dancer in the Dark by Lars von Trier. The music is by Bjork. It's starring Bjork. It's insane, and
You're like,
Wait, is that the one about a murderer or something?
there's a murder
Okay, I think I've heard about this film before.
with Bjork.
Yeah, because she mentioned to me, yeah, there's this film called Dancer in the Dark, and she told me that the music in this film is by Bjork, but the premise is like really dark. It's a dark premise.
Yeah, she's like an immigrant factory worker who murders somebody, basically.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
It's the best movie that I'm blown away that you've even heard about it, because in my mind, it's like nobody's heard of it. It's the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
100,
Okay. I
100%.
need to see this film. So
And the music
that
is crazy. It's insane. You know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that movie, but I definitely know that guy. He makes some freaky stuff.
I love him. I love
So
him.
I like your taste. That's good.
That's such a film guy pick. I'm sorry.
I know. But that's why I always follow up with my second favorite movie, which is Titanic. No, it's not real. It's not really, but it's up there. But I gotta let them know that I'm normal. I'm not just into these weird, perverted European art films.
Not normal. That's for sure.
Well, my favorite band is the Beatles. My favorite movie is Titanic. My favorite food is pasta. And my favorite mixed drink is vodka Red Bull. Those are normal picks.
Max, have you ever had an Irish Monk?
No.
Ooh, those are really good.
I'm scared. Is that like...
No, it's just Frangelico and Bailey's. But it's really good. That's one of my favorite mixed drinks.
Wait, hazelnut liqueur?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Irish Monk number 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Well, I'm allergic to hazelnuts is the problem.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, that's one of my favorite mixed drinks.
I'm trying to find a better dreidel, and like all of these dreidels online, like they don't even have the correct like letters on them. Like I'm looking at this here.
Oh wait, while he's looking for that, there we go.
There's Nun, Gimel, Pei, Shin, Lamed.
Whoa. There's 5 sides.
There's no hay. There's no hay. There's a Gimel, there's a Pei and a Shin, but there's no hay.
Well, this is like a optical illusion, right? Is that the joke?
I don't think it's a joke. I think somebody was like, there's 4 sides. Why is it some of them have the Pei? Why is it some of them have a Shin? I guess I'll just get rid of the hay and put both Pei and a Shin on it.
I don't see the 5th side.
No, there's 4 sides. So depending on whether, it's Nes Gadol Haya Sham or Nes Gadol Haya Po. There was a great miracle here, or there was a great miracle there, right? And so a dreidel in Israel will have a Pei, and a dreidel in the United States will have a Shin, right, for here and there. But whoever made this dropped the hay and put both a Shin and a Pei on it. Get it? You're not getting it.
So, does tonight's stream have a theme?
Well, I was going to talk about Iran and Israel and the cast report, but nobody cared about either one of those.
Oh, okay. I actually
What
did
happened
hear
there?
about that today. I did hear about that today. So
what today?
About Iran.
Yeah.
How Iran said
that
like
doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, he said it.
Yeah, nothing happened. Thank God, nothing happened. It has mostly to do with internal Iranian politics because they have no replacement for the Ayatollah, and he's gonna die, and they don't have any idea what to do, and I think that is the reason they had to attack, because the Republican Guard has no idea how they're going to control the country once Khamenei dies, and he's like 82 or something.
I kind of had this weird feeling like this wasn't really the attack itself. Like this was almost like a preliminary kind of testing the waters thing, because like from my very limited knowledge of like ballistics and like wartime stuff, like it just seemed like a really wimpy attack.
It was a very wimpy attack. It really.
But that must be a part of some
I
ploy.
didn't even hear of any.
No, it's not a ploy.
They're just weak.
Look, okay. You have to understand Iran's structure. So, Iran, their government is supposed to be a leadership by the leader of Shia Islam, right?
Yeah.
Well, when Khomeini, who was the first supreme leader, he's the one who came up with this idea of theocracy, and none of the other great scholars in Shia Islam agreed with him, but he effected the revolution, and so he became the supreme leader. Well, when he died, there was a slight problem, which is there were no other ayatollahs who subscribed to this idea of a theocracy. So what they had to do was they took somebody who subscribed to the idea of the theocracy and pretended he's an ayatollah. That's who Khamenei is, right? So it's a military dictatorship with a puppet religious leader who is supposed to be the leader of the theocracy. He's 84.
Yeah.
He's about to die, right? And basically, any religious leader who's actually qualified will not go along with the military dictatorship's beliefs because he's actually religious.
Right.
And the military dictatorship has no religious, they're pretending to be a theocracy, but they have no religious legitimacy.
Yeah.
And this is a problem.
What did you mean by not believing in theocracy? Like the Shiites didn't have literally they don't have a concept of like polity in the theology, or like they just didn't really believe that they could.
So the concept is called Vilayat Faqih, right? So Khomeini came up with this idea that the faqih, the posek in their terms,
Lahavdil,
right? To explain in Jewish terms, the person who is like the leading Muslim scholar, which obviously in their little sect of Shia Islam, 12er Shia Islam, right? There should be the supreme leader of the government.
Yeah.
Right? He should have Vilaya, which is like a sort of guardianship role over the state. Well, that idea, like none of the other Ayatollahs agreed with that. But it didn't matter, partially because he killed some of the Ayatollahs, but that's beside the point. But so he was able to establish a military dictatorship which agreed with his views and set him up as the supreme leader. When he died, they could not find an Ayatollah, somebody who was like actually a respectable leader in 12er Shia Islam. Wow, Kezi. By the way, Kezi, thank you for the books. I plan to stream on them. And Trey is coming to Israel, and he's been trying to reach you. I know you were in New York. I'm guessing you're back in Israel. Back to Iran. Okay, so what they did was they took somebody, Khamenei, and they basically promoted him to Ayatollah status and put him as the leader, as the supreme leader in Iran. Well, most of the people who are the most anti the regime who still live in Iran are actually the religious Muslims, because like this is obviously fake. Like Khamenei was barely qualified to become an Ayatollah, and the next one, like I was looking at the list of possible Ayatollahs, and so this is Khamenei's son. So this is Khamenei's son.
Yeah.
People want him to become the next supreme leader, but he's obviously not qualified. This is who Israel has said they think is going to be the next one. He was president of Iran, and he tried to call himself an Ayatollah, and everybody laughed at him, and he stopped calling himself an Ayatollah. And then there's the guy who's most likely to actually become the supreme leader. He's the grandson of Khomeini, the first guy, and he seems to have the religious qualifications. The problem is, like all the other Ayatollahs, he also doesn't agree with his grandfather, apparently. So, like, I mean, this is him with Rafsanjani, who is many people thought would become the supreme leader, but like when he tried to run for president, the Guardianship Council didn't allow him to be a candidate because Rafsanjani was not in on their theocracy ideas enough.
So, like, why the attack?
Because they're weak. They're weak internally, and Israel killing their major generals. Like when Trump killed
Soleimani. Oh my God, I remember that.
Okay,
that was nuts.
I was looking for the next appearance of Khamenei, and I listened to Khamenei speaking that in the Tehran, the main Tehran mosque. I thought you could hear the fear in his voice. Like he was projecting, please, President Trump, don't kill me. Like,
can you speak Farsi? Just to quickly, you were fluently.
Yeah. I was born in Iran. I left Iran when I was 6.
I always forget that you were actually born in Iran. Okay, so that was then. You think that now they're kind of just spazzing out like death throes? Like, okay, let's just like.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
There is the public statement of why they launched the missiles pack was because Israel did a targeted strike on what was it? It was somewhere in Iran in order to try to get one of the Hamas leaders.
Syria, I thought. Sorry, not to interrupt.
I don't remember exactly.
I thought it was a consulate.
Yes,
that's what it was. Yes, it was a consulate. Yes.
Okay.
There's actually a building next to the consulate, but they killed an Iranian general who was meeting with a bunch of Hezbollah types.
Yeah. So the retaliation is because of that strike in particular. and apparently there is now a what was it? A statement where I think it was like that came from the UN from Iran saying, "Okay, we did this strike specifically because of that attack, so now we're even, basically." But we're gonna see what happens from that point.
There are like 150 million 12er Shiites. I had no idea it was that big of a religion. It's not just Iran.
Oh no! And actually, the real leadership of it, I mean, I think Ayatollah Sistani is still considered. Is he still alive? It's been a long time. But Ayatollah Sistani was the leader of the Hausa in Najaf.
Yeah.
Sistani.
She seems so far away. Where is that? Like Nigeria? Like there's 12 or
Najaf is in Iraq. It's not that far from. It's
oh, yeah. I thought the Hausa.
No. The main Hausa, the leading Hausa. So this is Ayatollah Sistani, but he's 93 now. He was actually born in Iran.
Wait, the Hausa tribe from West Africa?
What? What are you talking about?
Then I misheard you. You said Hausa.
Yes, the Hausa, which is the it's the.
I thought you said Hausa like Nigeria. I was like, wow.
No, Hausa.
Oh.
The collective term Hazat for madrasa, where Shia Muslim scholars are educated.
Okay.
So the Hausa of Najaf is considered the basically like the Vatican of 12er Shia. Qom also is, but like nobody in Qom actually likes Ali Khamenei and the thing. But yeah, Ayatollah Sistani is considered the. Is he? I mean, he's 93, so I don't know how active he is still. Yeah, at present, Ayatollah Sistani heads Hausa Ilmaya Najaf, which includes two other Ayatollahs, Muhammad Yitzhak al-Fayyad and Bashir al-Najafi. And I'm guessing they're both incredibly old. This guy is also 93 or 94, and Bashir al-Najafi is only 80 or 81 or 82.
So what's next?
Hopefully nothing.
So something I have heard, where did I hear this from? I heard this from an interview with a guy who worked with in Iran for a time, that there's apparently a group of Iranian nationals in Iran that kind of do not like the Islamic theocracy and kind of are like more like they're like pure Persians in a sense.
Zoroastrian.
Yeah, I think, yeah, kind of. Is that true, Jacob?
Okay, so the constitutionalists tend to be like very anti-Arab influence, and to the point where they sometimes become like anti-Muslim a little bit, and very into the Zoroastrian stuff. Like there is a constitutionalist movement, and that was what the Shah was very into. Especially, he was trying to suppress Islam in many ways. And I mean, his son still hopes to return to Iran, and he's probably, if the regime were to fall, he's probably the most likely. So I have no idea who Dr. Kastab Wahab is. I don't even recognize that name, but will America be dragged into this war? First of all, I'm not sure there is a war that's happening. Second, no, I don't think America will get dragged into it if there is a war, which from what I have seen so far looks like there's not going to be one.
Somebody on Twitter said Farsi is a very easy language to learn. Is that true?
Farsi, so English and Farsi ultimately are come from the same language,
Yeah.
which I found absolutely shocking because as a child trying to learn English, I thought English was completely different. And then I read a book very recently on linguistics. And
Yeah, they're both Indo-European.
yeah, they're both Indo-European, and it showed me all the similarities, and I was like, oh my god, I did not even realize that Farsi and English are so similar. I mean, Farsi, it's not like as hard as German or Russian. The big difficulty with learning Farsi is it has two registers. There's the formal Farsi, and then there's Farsi as it's spoken. And so, yeah, that's. I mean, I barely understand formal Farsi. Like, it's hard for me to understand formal Farsi. Yeah.
Is formal Farsi something that's like, it's like that form of the language used when it comes to like anything that's like legal or anything where it's like any like diplomacy is involved or something and whatnot? Like,
Well,
is it
it's not even diplomacy. Honestly, when you write, you're expected to write in what's called literal Farsi, literary Farsi, adabi. And so when I was growing up, news shows, they would actually read the news as reading it from a written script, and which made it really hard for me to understand, right? But when you like, even when Khamenei is speaking, like, he doesn't speak like that, you know, like, you only speak, you don't really speak that way unless there's something that you're expected to speak in that way. Like, it's very formal. And so there's the two registers. There's adabi, there's the literary Farsi. And when, like, if you're reading non-fiction books or even old fiction books, right? I guess that's what they're still written in, but I mean, I can barely read, but that's not how people speak.
How many Semitic words are used on a daily basis in conversation? Like, if it grammatically is Indo-European, that's one thing, but like the words, the root words, where do they come from?
Large numbers of words from Arabic have made their way into Farsi. Large numbers. To the point where, like, sometimes trying to figure out what something means in in Hebrew, I think of the Farsi word, right?
Yeah.
But so I mean, there like the word muqaddas, for example, but tons of French words have made their way.
Yeah.
The word mother, like, I call my mom maman, which is from French.
What's the French connection? Because obviously I know there's a lot of Iranians or like Persians in France, and I think the Shah, either the Shah or the Ayatollah at one point was in France.
Yeah,
but
the Ayatollah was in France. There was okay. First, you have to understand that ever since England took over Iran in World War II, like literally occupied Iran, there has been a bitter hatred of the English in Iran, which to the point it's actually comical. Like how much Iranians hate the British. Like the British have no idea that they're hated so much by Iranians, and like Iranians make fun of how much other Iranians hate the British. Like there's a very famous satirical novel, and the main guy constantly has all these conspiracy theories about how everything wrong in his life was like it was the British, right? Like you know the Jews, right? Like in Iran, the Jews are actually British, right?
I've always sort of felt like the British are the real Jews in the sense that they literally are globalist, like pirates. Like not really, but like, actually I'm an Anglophile. But like somebody made that joke one time, and I was like, wow, like that is so funny. Because yeah, if you live in like India or something,
No, there
like,
are definitely conspiracy theorists who think that the British royal family, like I remember actually at USC when I was an undergrad. So before the internet, we had people who would physically come onto campus and like spread physical newspapers with all kinds of weird conspiracy theories. And I remember like you guys probably haven't even heard of Lyndon LaRouche, but he was
Louisiana, the crazy
he ran
radical centrism, y'all.
He ran for president from prison, and his main policy was he was going to defeat world hunger by creating a railway system that connected all 6 habited continents. And like you have to see this map. It was hilarious. It was like they had actually drawn lines of like how they were going to make a train from Australia into Asia, and like it was so hilarious. Like the childish engineering. Anyway, like so they used to hand out these magazines on USC's campus, and like so I grabbed one and I'm like reading it, and its entire existence was like trying to convince you that Prince Philip really ruled the world. Do you know who Prince Philip was?
I mean,
he was Queen Elizabeth's wife, the husband. Sorry, right? And they thought that he actually rules the entire world, right? And his wife is just a figurehead, and he is the one who's meeting with the cabal that actually rules the entire world. It was hilarious.
Well,
well, I'm actually going to log off. But Jacob, have you heard of someone named Lord Miles?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Did he get killed?
No, he's alive. He's very, very alive.
I'm glad to hear that.
Did you hear about his adventure in, I think it's Afghanistan?
I mean, I heard about the original one, but then I heard he tried to go back to Afghanistan and he got captured again?
Yes. Okay, so here's the story because it's really cool. Like, this guy is like a modern day, like, adventurer. Like, no joke. He goes to Afghanistan, gets captured. He was like captured, so to speak, but he wasn't like imprisoned. And basically, like, he was able to like talk with these guys, and he was so funny that everyone there loved him. So they just like hung out with him, and they shot guns and AK-47s out in the middle of the desert together. He meets all these weird people, and eventually he gets connections to talk with these super high up people in Iran, like people who like are super rich, own all of this, and they're like, hey, we need to figure out how to restore a country to its former glory. And basically what ended up happening is that I forget how he did this, but he talked to someone and was like, oh, like it eventually ended up where Lord Miles is now invested in Afghanistan gold mines as like a business venture with these other people in Afghanistan. I'm probably not doing the story justice, but that's how it ended up, is that he's now invested in Afghanistan gold mines. And he's back in Britain now.
I wish the man luck. I think he has already expended 8 of his 9 lives and should probably try to be a little bit more cautious. What would Iran's condition be today if Tudeh, I don't know what the name of the company was, and it could have been Tudeh, didn't nationalize Iranian petroleum. So I believe the Shah nationalized Iranian petroleum in the 70s, and that's why the United States, specifically Carter, I believe, allowed the Shah to fall. Good question. I mean, alternate history is not my forte.
So, like, how strong? I don't want to belabor this point, but like, you really think that they're weak? Aren't they like a nuclear power? Like, no matter the internal politics.
No.
They wanted to hit Tel Aviv,
Max. Okay, you can't say no matter the internal politics. A government has to deal with its internal politics first and foremost. And Iran has always had a very weak central government. The modern state of Iran has had a weak central government, certainly under Reza Shah. Mohammed Shah tried to make it stronger, but obviously he ended up not losing control. And after the revolution, it's not like the government was ever very strong. My father went to jail partially as a hostage of a regional government trying to embarrass the central government internationally. Like, Iran just it does not have as strong of a government as we imagine countries do. And so they are on the brink of collapse, kind of.
Well,
the problem is, if they collapse, nobody knows what the alternative would be.
Well, thanks to Barack Hussein Obama, they now have $1 billion.
You always have to know when people say Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah.
Well, it's just like, it's a very subtle or not so subtle way of like.
It is in no way subtle.
Okay, I know. As I said that, I took it back. I don't know. But yeah, no, he gave them $1 billion, and now World War III is going to start, and it's Obanga's fall, and like, I don't know, bro. That's my final word on the matter.
I don't think World War III is going to start.
Well, you know,
I was more worried when I first heard of the attack, but then I went and saw what the attack was, and apparently they decided to waste $1 million in drones. And okay,
in case the war starts, I will blend in just fine. Cool. I'll blend in just fine. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
You sound Arabic, and Persians hate the Arabs.
Sorry. Mushallah.
The Persian nationalists will rise. Anyway, with that riff, I will sign off. So have a good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, nothing ever happens. So
Well, I think Jacob brings up a good point, like indirectly, by saying every country is like totally focused on their internal politics as their number one focus. And have you heard that phrase where it's like, I don't know who it's from, it's like old, but a healthy king never looks at his own kingdom. And everybody's primary focus is their own kingdom. Nobody is healthy. Even Russia couldn't pull off a Ukraine thing. I mean, like
yeah.
You know, say what you will about billions to them, it doesn't matter. Like, they should, if they are the big bad scary Russia that they say, like, this should have been over. Nobody can pull off, I think, anything right now. So yeah, like, it will continue to just be nothing will ever happen.
Except maybe China. I am scared of China.
The problem with China, though, or the problem with people's thinking on China, is China literally never invades. That is their strategy almost. It's quite genius. Is be so big and powerful that everybody is so scared of you that they'll make the mistake of then like trying to invade. In Japan,
Well, like-
it worked for a little bit, but that wasn't going to hold.
I feel like with China,
They don't invade.
everyone was so scared of China forever, and now you see videos, literally 400,000 videos a day on my Twitter feed. That's just like buildings falling apart, and like
Okay, so
like
this is
I
my
don't know.
I think Xi has been playing Civilization, and he uses the same strategy I do, which is forget about military, culture.
Okay. And it's not
Culture
working?
and economic victories. Those are the only two victories that Xi has ever used in Civilization, and
But-
he's trying to win.
I don't know if he even has that, because like the infrastructure is it's built so shittily.
Even if he did, I think, you know, everybody's like, oh, the culture's above the politics. I think I don't know. There's something wrong about that thinking. I don't think it'll work. I think the old idea of like economics and culture will win is an American strategy. That's why we're failing. Is like your culture is not strong enough to colonize other people.
Well, our culture isn't. That's part of the problem. But Andrew is actually speaks Chinese, and he is the resident expert on China and internal politics of China.
Wow.
Speaking only in American.
Holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, Andrew, what's up with
my-
these videos? I see.
Which one? Which one?
Of like buildings falling
I've
apart
seen
in
them.
China.
I know what you're talking about.
China is a very low trust society. Yeah. The problem,
Really?
yeah. Everyone did it during the Cultural Revolution. You know, couldn't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Dog eat dog, and there's been very slow trust building since then.
But there's like there's like
You gotta make
hardly
quotas.
any crime
make
in like
quotas,
these
Reggie.
cities. They're notoriously peaceful in a way. They kind of blow away. Like when we think of inner city, we think of like violent, and like in Asia, whether you're in China, Japan, even I know it's like demonized in media. Even Thailand is like shockingly peaceful compared to like American cities. So even if they have like low trust, they're morally like way better than most of the West.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. Counterpoint to Andrew.
We're like barbarians. Like
Andrew,
we're much less civilizational than China is.
Andrew, isn't your grandfather like besties with Xi?
He's like, no.
My
Nepo baby.
yeah, my grandfather has Communist Party connections. My mother definitely took part in the Cultural Revolution. Um, yeah, she actually has a photo with Jiang Zemin.
I have no idea who that is, but sounds
He's
impressive.
the guy who sent the tanks to Tiananmen Square.
Their mom's like, yeah. That's so amazing. My mom was obsessed. Well, she's not Chinese or has any connections with the Chinese Communist Party, but she was obsessed with China as a kid. Like she was like into China when she was like 11, and she like had a little red book and like dressed like a Chinese like Revolutionary Guard or like she was just into China. This was her like.
This is how you know Max was born Jewish. His mother was a communist.
She actually like isn't a communist. She's like one of the least progressive people in that side of my family, but she just was into China and like Chinese people. I don't know.
It's the most Jewish thing in the world.
Here's
I mean,
the
mahjong.
Yeah.
The strange thing about like China is their culture, since it's like so communist, it's built in with communism. Like communism is already a foreign culture that's conquered their people.
Yeah, communism
Like,
is
that
like the
is-
most Western way of thinking ever.
That is a worship of technics, which is completely Western in a way. Especially because they didn't adopt like some sort of kind of wokeism communism. Like they adopted the very Western, like kind of Stalinist, heroic communism. So they've already been conquered by the West in a weird way. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I'm waiting for the Christians to like actually conquer them for Christianity, because that's when you know the Messiah will come.
Well, there's more Baptists in China than like anywhere, right?
I think if I hear Protestants all the time brag about that stuff, and I'm like, you guys are idiots. Oh gosh, you just brought up Protestant Christians. But if anything were to like really take hold, I have a feeling geography might play something into that, and that the whole like orthodoxy thing with Russia might actually have like something. Nothing's there now, but I could
Iran has a lot of Christians now too, probably because they're just so anti-Muslim that they're just like, well, I guess we'll just be Christians now. Like there's this whole underground there. I watched a little documentary about it on YouTube. It might have been kind of doctored, but yeah, probably more Christians than China. I don't know.
I can just
We
see
have a conspiracy theorist who thinks Yale University set up the CCP.
I mean, that's
we
100%
sure do
true.
benefit.
Without the West, a lot of these little like revolutionary movements would have never, without Jimmy Carter, who was basically a Shia 12 nationalist. I don't think Iran would be a revolutionary.
I was shocked.
regime.
I was absolutely shocked when I found out Michel Foucault was individually, directly involved in the Islamic Revolution in Iran. He was in Tehran.
Can you speak on that a little bit more? Because I'm fascinated.
He just hated the West.
He hated himself.
Yeah.
Like this is a very gay man into sadomasochism who was sexually aroused by what he viewed as like these savage Muslim men taking over, and like it was the and he wrote all of these articles supporting the Islamic Revolution, and he convinced all the stupid university intellectuals in Iran to support Khomeini's revolution as some sort of like decolonization move.
Yeah.
And of course, after the revolution, like Khomeini just killed all of these stupid idiots, useful idiots. But the connection between
Maybe he wasn't so bad after all.
the connection between Islamism and the postmodernists,
Yeah.
like this is not new. There's a reason why like the two Muslim members speak of the U.S. Congress speak in completely woke terms, because like this is Michel Foucault for you.
Well, I really agree. I remember a couple months ago on TikTok. Do you guys hear about how Bin Laden's letter to America was trending?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I read the letter, and then I read about the letter. And although I'm forgetting his name, it might have been something as American Pie basic as Adam something.
Yeah.
Or like Bill Green, maybe was his name. Point being, the kid that wrote it was actually from California. He was like the child of two hippies who was into like noise music and like free jazz and metal and whatever, and like got into that stuff, as you just said, Jacob, through the Pomo left. And I'm like reading and then I reread it and I was like, this actually just sounds like Noam Chomsky. Like this isn't even right wing. And then I realized that the entire idea of this like radical Islamist, like they're not there. They don't exist without the language of American progressives.
Yeah.
Like Islam used to be like, dude, God gave us earth, we're gonna conquer you, and now Muslims be like, you're literally doing a hecking imperialism. Don't do that anymore. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
they're an anti-colonial.
yeah, it's like so pathetic and gay. They're gay. They're literally lame.
Literally
There's
gay.
just really like almost zero actual kind of right-wing impulse left in the world, like completely. Trump is a leftist. They're all leftists.
Yeah.
The only right-wing impulse I think to be found anymore will be like if you can, I don't know, you're self-responsible, I suppose. Like it's just not going to happen on the mass scale.
I mean, Israel has some serious right-wing realities.
Okay, see, this is the thing.
Not to go down that rabbit hole, but I think
No,
other than Israel and maybe
It's
Russia,
interesting. It
Russia
is
has.
interesting. They're like nationalists, though, which is like leftism's leftovers that they're just. There's a. I feel like. I don't know, but that's the thing. Is like I don't know a really kind of radical Western right-wing position would be much more like hereditary rather than like national, which would be a little more merit-based nowadays since the bloodlines mean nothing. But like, I don't even know. Like, it's all
it would involve like it's so old in his like okay. If you take one step backwards from like libtard global world, globo homo, whatever, stupid term, but one step backwards is like nationalism. And then a step before that is like ancien regime, like before the nation.
Yeah.
That's just too far back. It's too far back to even quite remember for a lot of people.
Definition of left and right
it's from the French Revolution. That's why we're trapped, because we can't get out from under it.
Right. It doesn't work because like it's impossible to go back in time. So the idea that like being right wing is about going back in time is just silly and stupid.
Yeah.
No,
this is what Curtis Yarvin says a lot too.
Well, that's funny that you should mention that, because have you seen him and Chris Rufo? They had like a conversation or like this debate that went back and forth. They published.
No, but I met Curtis one time, and I mean,
Yeah,
he's cool, but man, what a nerd.
Yeah, he's a nerd. Well, it's funny because like Chris Rufo says the same thing of like, oh, well, the right wing and left wing, they're really just out of the French Revolution. It's like, first off, a human being has the right and left. Like that will exist all the time, forever, no matter where. I don't know. I've kind of like gotten past Yarvin, and I like Nick Land a bit more. I feel like he has better solutions for like what that would look like, even though he's not to totally be trusted. Because I know he kind of wants to see the West destroyed in a way.
He's also.
Do you know about the CCRU?
Do
Yeah,
I?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't. The
Nick
cultism doesn't.
Land is a complete op.
Yeah, I mean,
He is a left wing op to sabotage the right.
Nick Land, really?
maybe.
Look up the CCRU.
I know what it was, but I think he's like a genuinely like reactionary figure that just works for China by accident. That's my gut feeling.
No.
I do think like that. I've had those suspicions, nonetheless. There's a great essay actually. It's really good, where some guy he just publishes somebody's comments that kind of bring that up. Like he's saying, the guy commenting is like this. He's got this idea of some sort of pastoral, traditional, whatever, and he's like kind of coming to the realization of like, wait, so you're saying you're whatever money rewards you're going toward, and we should just split ways. Like this is bad. You would destroy like any sort of like I don't know, what almost MAGA dream that he has or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's the right wing point, is like conflict. All you have to do is in the global American empire, the gay global homo, and the agreement can stop there. And that's the thing, is I think especially like, again, the MAGA right wing people, they're leftist because they think we're all going to get a consensus. It's like, no, get the people out that are demanding consensus so that real politics can begin again between like the traditionalists, the military, the techno commercial. These have warred against each other forever.
Yeah, we need to go back. And honestly, so I wanted to talk about the Cass report, because the Cass report, more than anything, shows how the British system is so much more capable of beating back this postmodern bullshit than we are here. And part of that is, like, obviously when they're trying to smear Hillary Cass as a transphobe, and it's just that dog will not hunt, because it's Great Britain, and like they decided, oh, we are going to take a retired president of the British Pediatric Association, right? And we're going to ask her to write a report for the National Health Service, which she did, and she took 4 years to write it. And so now they're trying to call her a transphobe, and like that dog just will not hunt, because they actually have a society that, frankly, I would say it's more Catholic, in that the Anglican imaginary is not Lutheran or Calvinist. I like, that's what I've been thinking about most today, is why is it that England, like this Cass report, Labour already accepted it and has changed their opinion on trans kids like that because the report came.
Have you heard? It's like a growing kind of trend. Sorry if the dog's in the background, but it was like a growing trend on Twitter that like the woke is getting put away. That sort of stuff is ending. It's pretty interesting, because the guy pushing this idea was saying it's not good, and in a way, the woke getting put away is kind of an attempt of those in power to actually contain and control the vast amount of
Okay,
I
so
wouldn't
this
say
is Nick
rebellion, but-
Land. This is Nick Land accelerationist talk. Like, there's
Not
no
really. The guy that is, he doesn't even like Nick Land, but
It still sounds like accelerationist talk to me.
Nick Land is
Sure.
a Chinese spy.
Okay. What will happen to the new leftist shock troop useful idiot LGBTQ after the supposed West's implosion? Will the pendulum swing the other way? So that's what I was worried about. But that's a worst case scenario where the wokeism just keeps on going. And it looks like it's actually starting to recede. When Claudine Gay got fired, like that was a huge. That was huge.
Tony
when
Blair wrote 3 years ago to put the woke away. He's been pushing for that, for the left to stop playing into that, because we're losing
Who has?
Tony Blair. I mean,
Tony Blair,
the Dark Lord himself.
Yeah. So no, the UK is definitely. I mean, in many ways, I could point to all kinds of things in the UK, but I really did not think Elon Musk would be able to pull off his coup with Twitter, and he has. The woke are losing. They really are.
David, why is you said something a second ago, a while ago, like
Okay, really important question. This one or this one? This one?
Don't forget your question.
Probably the colorful one. Yeah, this guy with feet is kind of interesting.
I like that.
It's a little less refined, which is good because refined culture.
Or two?
Two.
I vote two. Andrew, you're outvoted.
You are outvoted. Andrew.
Democracy has won the day. Sorry. America. My question was, you said that the nation is like a holdo. It's still libtard, basically, because the nation is like 200 years old, and it's like basically a progressive. Like nationalism was a left-wing movement when Victor Hugo was writing about it, and so like we're all libtards because like Donald Trump is a leftist and da. But nations, like the nation state, obviously it worked a different way, and there was no word for it in like the Bible or something, but the nation as a unit, as like a group of tribes being like a nation, it is really old.
For sure. That is right, and that's not totally what I'm saying. I think though, like, America is a libtarded nation though. Like, if I would have sided with the king, that would have been right wing.
King George.
Like, yeah. Have you ever heard of the story? It's like one of the first fairy tales in America called Rip Van Winkle. It's quite good.
Yep.
And it's the Dutch guy who wakes up and he's like, "Wait, what are you talking about? I'm a loyal subject to King George. You guys are idiots." That would be a true kind of right-wing impulse, would, in America at least, would be almost to beg UK to take us back. Like that would be almost my only hope. Otherwise, we're a business. It means nothing. We're gonna be. I mean, the leader of our country is called the president. It's like a business.
Yeah, it's from the CEO. Like the title for a CEO is older than the title. Like the being the president of a company is older than being the president of a country.
Yeah, our most like heroic symbol is a cowboy. I mean,
it's kind of badass though. No, I'll tell you what. You guys know meme analysis?
Yeah.
So David, I want to know, which church do you go to?
I haven't been to church in like 5 years. I don't know.
You're very traditionalist, David. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, a different, much older stuff, I suppose. Than I don't know. I wrestle with that sometimes. I do. Like, if I'm being honest, I wrestle with. I sometimes think kind of Christianity is to blame for a lot of this stuff.
You're absolutely right. You should.
You're not gonna get any.
I know that you're the wrong people too.
But
Bring it up,
you know, you don't. All I will say is that anti-Pope Francis is eventually gonna die, and then you can be a Catholic like normal.
That would probably be where I should have gone. That's probably where I should go, but I don't know. I have a hunch that.
Okay, the idea of ethno countries is 200 years old. It's Darwinian. Before Darwin, people understood that's not how ethnicity works. And
believe it or not, a guy who's often blamed for, like, you know, rightfully so, probably Oswald Spengler. He has a great passage in The Hour of Decision where he's like, if you think of race as like this Darwinistic, materialistic, like bloodline sort of thing, then like race is no longer in you, and that pure race means nothing. All that means is like, are you a strong nation? Not this pure idea is nonsense.
Yeah,
I think that's what I was getting at.
Before Darwin, people were like, "Oh, of course I will take your women, rape them, and make them bear my children."
Yeah, everybody was what do they call miscegenation? Like everybody was miscegenating. They thought it was good. They were like, yeah.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about meme analysis? That's interesting. I never run across anybody here that also is paying attention.
He's cool. I've met him a couple times. I had the other day.
Why are you always dropping names? I've met Mencius Nova. I've met Mina. I've met this guy.
I'm just
I
saying.
have sex with supermodels.
That one's not true, really. But regular models. No, anyways. But I like went and I got like, well, I don't really drink, but we went to like a bar because I went to this like poetry thing and he was there and we were talking. I met a guy. This is gonna sound like a joke and it's not a joke. I was talking to Meme Analysis and then this guy who I guess he kind of knew, who was there with his fiance. He was like 6'5", and he said he was Spanish, like Spaniard. He looked like a comic book Aryan like face.
Did he have a mustache?
No.
Okay.
And he's just like, we're talking, and we start talking about religion. I'm like, and he's dropping Schopenhauer, Nietzsche. I'm like, okay, but what do you actually believe? And I swear to you, he just goes, I worship violence and power. That's what he said to me at like a hipster bar. And I'm like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you just did cocaine with your fiance in the bathroom at this hipster bar. He's like, I worship violence and power. And I'm like, wait a minute. But you do still believe in the God of Abraham. Like, you know that there's an entity that made the world. And he's like, no. I'm like, what? He's like, I believe in Schopenhauer. Like, I believe this. And I was just like, I'd never met somebody who honestly, like, committed to that bit.
Well, he didn't believe it.
Right, but a lot of these people, they get dissatisfied with Christianity, and then they start kind of fetishizing, like, a like, specifically some sort of, like, Nordic pagan idea, and they act like, I don't know, like ripping people's lungs out of their back is like spiritual vigor, and it's like that's not at all.
I mean, even if it was, like, you work in finance,
right?
Like, yeah, like, and this is like the BAP thing, where the BAP like ends is like, yeah, but you work in finance. Like, yeah, you can find these micro examples, like you can be Lord Miles, I guess, but basically everybody is still, you know. I don't know, like a healthy approach to BAP is that you have to laugh a little bit, and I don't know if this guy was laughing.
BAP is just to ignore him.
Well, that's not true. He's a genius.
Yes, it is. 3/4 of my family came from Spain, and 1/4 of my family still speaks Aramaic.
Oh. You know, Jacob, I saw a video of a town in Syria. So they went and shot some footage there. Untouched little village
Yeah.
that supposedly, not only do they speak Aramaic, but supposedly because they've been so isolated from the rest of the world, even during Ottoman times, whatever, that they have, in theory, the accent that Jesus would have had, speaking Aramaic. And the guy's name was, one of the people they interviewed was named Michael. And he introduced himself as Michael, like Hasidish, like he was from Poland, and he's a Gerer Chassid, and he said Michael.
Yeah.
And it kind of blew my mind.
Ger Hasidim don't say Michal. They say Michul.
Okay. The point is that Kametz was like an oi. I was like,
Yeah.
are you a
It's
Hasidic
so
Jew?
fun. For somebody who's getting your PhD in music, your sense of accents, like you have one accent, and that's the only accent you ever.
One accent, I can't do any
And you
accent.
think like you have no ears for music whatsoever. I have no
What are
idea.
you talking about?
I have
What are you
no
talking
idea.
What did I just
No.
say that made you think? What? What?
I have
Michael?
zero idea how they have not kicked you out of the school of music yet.
The Aberster provides. That's God for you non-Yiddish speaking folks.
Thank you.
The Aberster, literally, I guess it means the Most High.
No, I think Abishter actually. I thought Abishter means maker.
Really?
I thought so. I might be wrong.
I thought it literally. Oh, the one above.
Oh.
The one above.
Okay.
The uppermost. Der Aberster.
Der Abishter,
Der Aberster's gesund.
if you say so.
Der Aberster? Avadai. How much of the can you pin that comment? For some reason you're not letting me because you took away my privileges, but
I didn't take away your privileges, did I? I think what happened was you didn't log in with your.
oh, you're right.
So you're blaming me for taking away your privileges?
You're right. I just admitted that. To answer your question, I don't know anything about belly dancing. But and I don't really know that much about Arabic music. That's sort of like a
Actually, no,
pet
maybe
interest.
I can take away your.
No, I'm in the wrong email. Maybe both. Maybe you hate me. But no, oud is like, that's sort of like saying, no offense to your question, but that's sort of like asking me, how is the guitar related to music with people singing? You're like, well, gee, I don't know. It's the guitar. It's like it's everywhere, you know. The oud is everywhere. It's not really associated with any style of music. It's just more regional. Like the oud can be played in a classical setting and with long improvisational sections. It can be played in an ensemble, vocal music. You know, it's a popular instrument. It's also high art. It's, you know, it's
Isn't I mean, am I misthinking? Oud is a wind instrument.
No, it's actually from Persia. It's what I was playing a second ago, half jokingly. It's a string
Oh,
instrument.
okay.
It's
Hold
from
on.
Persia. I mean, oud is wood. I mean, etymologically, it's the word wood, right? Because it's made of wood. It's also the grandfather of the guitar. It's a cool instrument. I've been playing it for about a year, but mostly as a hobby. It's not like something I study by any means.
Oh, the word oud is Arabic.
Oud.
Yeah, I wonder what it's called in Farsi.
I mean, I don't know. I'm as you know, Jacob, I'm learning Hebrew, and next up is Aramaic, and then after that will be Farsi. And you know, when you make comments like that, I'm bad with languages. You know, is that gonna make me more or less enthused to learn? You know, that's the thing.
Apparently, the Persian word is barbud.
Mabud.
Apparently. According to Wikipedia.
All right. It is almost midnight. I'm gonna get off of here.
Yeah,
Same.
I'm actually gonna end the stream unless Max wants to.
No, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Hey.
Was-
nice
Well,
to talk.
hopefully, we can actually like meet up and.
Yeah, all
Hey.
4 of us are in Los Angeles. What are we doing online?
Yeah, this is April's super busy, but I'm down to hang soon.
Yeah, if there's just like a best way to contact you guys, you know what I mean?
Are you on Discord?
Yes.
Are you on my Discord?
Let me join right now. I saw you had the link in your bio.
I have a link in the description, and there's a Los Angeles. What you call it? There's a Los Angeles.
Jacob, why is Chesi one of the Yoshvim? Does that literally mean the people that sit?
Yes.
What is he sitting and doing?
What are all the other names of the various things on my
Angels.
exactly? And who gets to sit in heaven?
Memtet. Oh, I see.
Now you get it.
That's brilliant. That's why there can only really be one.
No, there's actually 3 Yoshvim.
Memtet, Sandalphon.
I have no clue. I just figured the only actual rabbi on my Discord, he's not very active, and so I made Chezi, Yosef, and the rabbi the 3 Yoshvim. So there's like the Beit Din Shalmala.
Oh, I get it.
You get it? You still have not joined my Discord, David. How dare you?
Yeah, it's doing that stupid thing where I open it up on my phone and it takes me to the update thing 5 times. I will do that though, and
Okay. So
might
when
work
we
here in a
do-
second.
Jacob, is Israel going to conquer from the Nile to the Euphrates?
No.
Okay. I have this sneaking suspicion like that could happen.
No. What is going to happen is once the state of Israel repents and the Jews repent of their idiotic Zionism, then the actual Messiah will come, and the entire world will recognize the kingship of God.
That could happen tomorrow.
That could happen tonight. It could happen right now if only the Jews would repent of their Zionism.
God. Yeah, you're screwed, man. They got you. They got you
Who
too
got
good.
me?
I don't know the CCP. I just that's too sophomore for me.
And with that, good night, folks.